Chapter 1660. Night Sorrow wanted to hold a banquet, so Tsongming went to call Wufeng. Wufeng wouldn't attend any banquets held by others. In the past few years, he hadn't attended any social events. Even if it was an invitation from the 7th mansion head, he would reject it. He didn't want to get involved in any conflicts. However, he was more than happy to attend Night Sorrow's banquet. Night Sorrow was a brother he acknowledged. Wufeng and Tsongming arrived at Night Moon Villa. The banquet was ready. Yishang called for Hong Yi and Lan Ying, who were originally unwilling to sit at the table, to sit. You know our family's rules. No one will mind. Yishang looked at Lin Xian'er and Tsongming as he spoke. Wufeng didn't understand why Night Sorrow would hold a banquet. Night Sorrow had already told him about Ethereal Battle Emperor's attitude toward Star Moon Lake. This is a good thing. It's worth celebrating. Wufeng was stunned. Ethereal Dynasty's policy toward Star Moon Lake was surprisingly good. Night Sorrow isn't too willing. He feels like he owes her a favor, Tsongming said with a smile. Brother, I know you have your principles, but you don't have to think too much. If Ethereal Dynasty needs something, we will do what we can. But if it goes against our principles, then there's nothing we can do about it. Looking at it from another angle, Lord Battle Emperor is magnanimous. We can't use favors to profane her magnanimity, Wufeng said to Night Sorrow. Thank you for your advice, big brother. I understand. Night Sorrow nodded. It's good that you understand. Don't feel pressured. You're a man with an indomitable spirit. You know what to do. You're just putting too much pressure on yourself. I've seen the Battle Emperor before. She's indeed magnanimous. Although she's a woman, she's definitely not inferior to men, Wufeng said with a smile. You've only seen her once. Tsongming curled his lips. You can tell what kind of person some people are after meeting them once. Night Sorrow and I became friends after meeting once. The War Emperor was very generous when it came to me. She helped others without asking for anything in return. Of course, whether it's me or Yishang, we won't go against our conscience and accept benefits from others. All right, let's drink. This is indeed something worth celebrating. Wufeng raised his glass to Yishang. Lin Xian'er had a smile on her face, because Wufeng's evaluation was very honest. Everything she heard behind the scenes was the truth. Night Sorrow nodded. Yes, my mind is much clearer now. That's very good of you. How many years has it been for me to become a manor lord? I even have to follow the orders of the city lord manor. As for you, you don't have to care about anything. If there's any festive event in the Ethereal Dynasty, you'll be invited and have a seat, said Tsongming. I'm very grateful to the War Emperor for thinking so highly of me. If there's a chance, I'll have to thank her. Night Sorrow smiled. Looking at things from a different perspective, he felt much more relaxed. After drinking, Wufeng and Tsongming left. Datura also sent Lin Xian'er to rest. Night Sorrow brought Jinling to his resting place, and communicated with Jinling. Jinling needed flames of life that were above the Heaven Monarch realm. Low-level flames of life would not be of much use. Night Sorrow sorted out his flames of life and put a storage ring on Jinling. He filled it with 30 flames of life and told Jinling how to use it. Night Sorrow didn't have many flames of life that were above the Heaven Monarch realm. However, the consumption of flames of life of Heaven Monarch realm was not high. After all, it wasn't a resource that could be used indefinitely. After using a few flames of life, it couldn't be used anymore. For example, Night Sorrow and Datura's soul energy was saturated and couldn't be strengthened any further. Night Sorrow still had 1,700 to 800 flames of life. After sorting it out, Night Sorrow planned to send some flames of life back to Xingyue City. Letting Jinling cultivate by herself in Night Moon Villa, Night Sorrow took Datura to the former Night Mansion. He called for Qing Emperor and Wu Ling Mountain Chieftain to take the teleportation formation to Xingyue City. Night Sorrow, Datura, and Qing Emperor arrived at the City Lord Manor. Tang Jianfeng, Lord of Heaven God Hu, and the others all came over. They all knew that Night Sorrow usually had something to do when he came back. After everyone sat down, Night Sorrow explained the current situation. Domain Lord, are you saying that we can expand our forces now? Yuandao Heavenly Lord asked in surprise. That's right. The Misty Dynasty won't attack us. Instead, they'll protect our development. Night Sorrow nodded. That is to say, we can develop like the other powers. Yuandao Heavenly Lord said excitedly. It's like this. We can start developing now. Here are the flames of life. Master, you can use them as you see fit. As for how to arrange them, you can distribute them to whoever you want. Yishang took out 2 bottles of flames of life and handed them to Emperor Qing. What is the fire of life? Qing Emperor was a little confused. Datura then explained to Qing Emperor, and the others the purpose of the fire of life. This is too precious. We have to use it carefully. Domain Lord, aren't you going to exchange it for resources? Leave some for the Domain Lord's manor, and give it to those who have contributed. Heaven Lord Shinhu said. Everyone knew their limits. They all knew how difficult it was for Night Sorrow. Don't worry. If the chaotic realm develops well, we'll have the confidence to stand out, Night Sorrow said. After communicating with everyone, Night Sorrow told Qing Emperor, and the others that in the past, the Yi Manor and the Celestial Master Pavilion could hang a plaque in Star Moon City. After settling the matters in Star Moon City, Night Sorrow and Datura returned to the city in the sky. He gave some of the Saint level and King level fires of life to Xikong Chuyu and Taishiyan. After explaining their effects, he asked them to distribute them accordingly. Night Sorrow also gave some to Yang Lei. He asked Yang Lei to give some to Yang Yu, the people from Medicine Valley, and the members of the God-slaying team. Night Sorrow did not forget anyone who had passed by him. Feeling that he did not leave anything behind, Night Sorrow stayed at home for 2 days. He told his family that they could go to the ethereal imperial city if they wanted to, but they had to be careful and not run around. After all, he still had enemies. After Night Sorrow and Datura returned to the ethereal imperial city, they sought Songning in the Night Moon Villa. The city lord's manor has passed down the order that Star Moon Lake is the fief of the overlord. The ethereal imperial city recognizes Star Moon Lake as a force, Songning said to Night Sorrow. But I haven't handed over the Holy Spirit stones, Night Sorrow said. He felt that the ethereal imperial city had acted a little too quickly. Sigh. You haven't handed them over, but you have me. You don't have to worry about this. Songning looked at Night Sorrow and shook his head. Night Sorrow took out a storage ring and said, Help me hand over another 2 million. Okay, I'll do it for you. Night Sorrow, your mansion can hang the signboard of Star Moon Lake. Star Moon Lake's Night Moon Villa is not bad, Songning said. There's no need for that, right? Wouldn't that be too ostentatious? Let others know that Star Moon Lake is related to me, Night Sorrow said. It's to let others know that it's related to you so that they won't dare to make a move, Lin Xianair said. Sister Xianair, do you think my strength is enough to intimidate others? Night Sorrow asked with a smile. Chapter 1661. Moonstar Lake is a force recognized by the Ethereal Dynasty. They also have the sovereign token of the Ethereal Dynasty. Would Moon-Gazing Manor and Sky Sun Manor dare to touch them? Definitely not. The Ethereal Dynasty doesn't forbid internal conflicts, but there are rules. If they dare to use underhanded means outside the rules, the War Emperor can crush them to death. You're not afraid of battles within the rules, and you're not afraid of anyone below the Emperor Realm. There's no one above the Emperor Realm in Moonstar Lake. Their Emperor Realm cultivators are just decorations. Songning explained when he saw that Night Sorrow didn't understand. If their Emperor Realm cultivators make a move, Big Brother won't sit back and do nothing. Wufeng looked at Night Sorrow and said, You have friends and brothers, so there's nothing to worry about, Lin Xianair said. Then I'll hang up. But Boss Tsang, you have to know that I won't let the Moon-Gazing Manor and Sky Sun Manor off the hook for bullying me. I can't swallow my anger. They must pay the price. Night Sorrow explained his point of view. Then we'll make them submit, until they come to apologize, Lin Xianair said when she saw that Songning didn't know what to say. She was telling Songning her attitude. This might hurt the Ethereal Dynasty, but they are the weakness of the Ethereal Dynasty. They are also a tumor that must be dealt with. If they don't recognize their mistakes, they will suffer in the future, and even endanger the stability of the Ethereal Dynasty. Gong Yufan was able to give Yuanji the celestial sect's puppet, which means that he has a good relationship with the celestial sect. If I don't deal with someone like him, who else can I deal with? Night Sorrow said. You're right. I'm sure the Ethereal War Emperor can understand. You're helping the Ethereal Dynasty solve its internal problems, Lin Xianer said. Song Ming took the Saint Spirit Stone that Night Sorrow gave him and left. Wu Feng also left the Night Moon Manor. I'm going to refine a batch of seals that belong to the Moonstar Lake. Our people will bring them with them when they go out in the future. This way, if anyone wants to play any underhanded tricks, they won't have a reason to do so. Night Sorrow said after thinking for a moment. You're very meticulous. This way, there won't be an excuse for accidental injury. Lin Xianer nodded. Sister Xianer, since the Battle Emperor has agreed to let us go to the evil punishing land, we won't activate that hidden hand. Sister Xianer can only wait, Night Sorrow said. I'm not in a hurry, I'm really not in a hurry. Lin Xianer smiled as she shook her head. She understood that Night Sorrow was genuinely concerned about his friend. Then we will wait. Hong Yi continued to issue a challenge to the Heaven Monarch of Guanyue Prefecture according to the list, Night Sorrow said to Hong Yi. Hong Yi nodded. Don't worry, young master. I will arrange it. Young master, call the members of the God-slaying squad over. They don't have anything to do every day, and they are so anxious that they are crying out. Lanning asked. Okay, I'll leave it to you. Night Sorrow agreed after thinking for a while. Starmoon Lake still needs to develop quickly. 10,000 years is nothing in the celestial realm, and it will pass in the blink of an eye. Which force in the celestial realm hasn't developed for millions of years? The Ethereal Dynasty only charges 1,000,000 Saint Spirit Stones for protection for 10,000 years. 100 Saint Spirit Stones a year is very cheap. But have you thought about what would happen if Starmoon Lake didn't develop for 1,000,000 years? You can't afford it, Lin Xianer said to Night Sorrow. Yes, I've thought about this problem too. 100 Saint Spirit Stones a year is nothing in the short term, but 10,000 years would require 1,000,000 Saint Spirit Stones, and 1,000,000 years would require more than 100 million Saint Spirit Stones. Thus, the Ethereal Dynasty is helping us stabilize in the early stages. If we want stability with this treatment, it won't work, Datira said. I know, how could I not consider this problem? What we need now is development. Aluo, can you not become an emperor in 10,000 years? Or can I not become an emperor in 10,000 years? Strength determines status. We can ask for protection, or we can choose not to, said Yishan. Is it appropriate to not ask for protection? Datira was stunned. We accept protection because we are weak, and we need it because we are weak. When we are strong enough, I believe the Ethereal War Emperor will make a new decision. If you become an emperor, will the Ethereal Dynasty still accept the Saint Spirit Stones for protection? That's not a joke. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Originally, I was anxious for you and worried that you would feel pressured, but in front of your confidence, this pressure is nothing. Lin Xianer smiled. I'm 180 years old this year, and I can cultivate to half-step emperor. No one knows what will happen in 10,000 years. I've already paid for 30,000 years. If I can't achieve anything in 30,000 years, I'll have lived in vain. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Well said. If you have this confidence, then there's nothing wrong with that. However, Night Sorrow, you must remember that no matter if you become an emperor, or an emperor, you can't leave me out of the celebration banquet. Lin Xianer looked at Night Sorrow and said, Big Sister Xian, what are you saying? Night Moon Villa has your residence, so it's your home. You'll be there at any time. No banquet can be left out of Big Sister Xian, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Lin Xianer nodded. Night Moon Villa had really become a place for her to stay. Big Sister Xian, you have a lot of experience. Can I ask you something? Night Sorrow asked. He wanted to know more about Tranhung. Go ahead, I'll tell you if I know. Lin Xianer nodded. In the celestial realm, experts are respected by those on the celestial demon list. However, is the celestial demon list fair and reasonable? Do the experts on the celestial demon list agree? Night Sorrow asked. The celestial demon list is a comprehensive evaluation based on cultivation, absolute arts, weapons, treasures, attributes, and so on. It's relatively fair. Currently, no one has publicly questioned it. Of course, there are examples of successful challengers. However, the successful challengers also increased their strength after the celestial demon list was created. Therefore, there's no such thing as unreasonable. Lin Xianer nodded. That means that the celestial demon list covers all the experts in the world. Datira asked. You can't say that. There are many reclusive cultivators who have never come out of seclusion, and have never made a move. There are such people who have never made a move. However, you haven't made a move, so you can't question the celestial demon list. Lin Xianer shook her head. Then what's the situation with the person who created the celestial demon list? Night Sorrow asked the question he wanted to ask. See section T of the original version √% chapter, off Tranhung. Everyone only knows him as Tranhung. He has existed for a very long time, and is the most respected emperor in the celestial realm. No one can question his strength or his legitimacy. There was once an almighty Azure Dragon who asked Tranhung why the experts of the Azure Dragons couldn't be on the list. Tranhung said that the celestial demon list only included human cultivators, and was only a list to encourage human cultivators to improve. It had nothing to do with beasts. In the end, the almighty Azure Dragon refused to accept it, and made a move. What's the result? Lin Xianer asked with a smile. Sister Xianer, don't make us anxious. Hurry up and tell us. Datira asked anxiously. Chapter 1662. So overbearing? But it's a pity that I'm not a human, so I don't have the chance to enter the list, Datira said, shaking his head. No, Aluo, are you Datira's flower now? You've completely transformed into a human, so you're a human in the world of Tranhung. What he doesn't approve of is that you're not a human. For example, divine beast clans or talented monster beasts, they're unwilling to give up their beast form. Even if they appear in human form, it's still an illusion. Such cultivators aren't qualified to enter the celestial demon list, Lin Xianer explained. I've completely transformed into a human. Even if I fight in my original form, it's still a skill. It has nothing to do with my genetic structure. This is proven by the fact that Night Sorrow and I can have children, Datira nodded. Tranhung is fair, and is the pride of our human race. It's also the reason why the human race can dominate the celestial realm. So what if the divine beast clans are strong? They're still in their own world and can't dominate the celestial realm, Lin Xianer said. I've seen him before. He's a very peaceful elder, Night Sorrow said. What? You've seen Tranhung? Lin Xianer asked in surprise. I've seen him before. He helped me solve a hidden danger. The soul of the Guizhu was hidden in the body of the golden body divine spirit, and was captured by Tranhung and suppressed. Night Sorrow nodded. How many years has it been since anyone has seen Tranhung? He actually appeared in the Misty Dynasty, and helped you solve a big problem. How rare. Lin Xianer's face was full of shock. The Misty Dynasty was her territory. It could be said that everything was under her control. However, she didn't know that Tranhung had come. This also showed that there was a gap between them. After all, she was the battle emperor who was ranked first on the celestial demon list. After thinking about it for a moment, Lin Xianer shook her head. There were more than 100 experts on the celestial demon list, and she was ranked first because she was the strongest in terms of direct combat. However, in terms of speed and concealment, there were many people who were stronger than her, not to mention Tranhung, who was the pillar of the human race. Night Sorrow, why didn't you say anything? We have to meet such a person. Datira complained to Night Sorrow. I didn't know at first and we didn't talk. He just left after drinking a cup of tea. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Lin Xianer shook her head. She knew that Tranhung wasn't someone that anyone could meet if they wanted to. She had never met him before, or even if she had met him, she didn't know. It was just like how Night Sorrow met her. He only knew that she was Lin Xianer and didn't know that she was the Misty Battle Emperor. The signboard of the Night Moon Villa changed to the Star Moon Lake's Night Moon Villa. Lin Xianer had an idea. She took out a big stone from the villa, and placed it beside the gate. She waved her sword and carved the words Lord's Mansion. Gong Yufan of the Moon Viewing Mansion and Yang Tianlai of the Sun Mansion knew about it. They were shocked because their sense of superiority as mansion lords was gone. They were mansion lords of the Misty Dynasty, but Night Sorrow was now a lord recognized by the Misty Dynasty. His status and position were not inferior to theirs. If he were to play any tricks, Song Ning and Wufeng wouldn't even need to be angry. The Battle Emperor would crush them to death. Luo Yuandao brought Luo Fei to the Night Moon Villa and brought gifts to congratulate him. Night Sorrow received Luo Yuandao and his son. This was Luo Yuandao's second visit to the Night Moon Villa. The first time he came, he expressed his sincerity. He even openly said that it wasn't Night Sorrow's fault that Luo Fei's original body was killed, even if Night Sorrow was the killer. As for whether it was true or not, everyone knew. Lord Night, it hasn't been long since I last came. I hope it's not a new scene. Luo Yuandao said after sitting down. Oh, new, fastest YMP hashtag. Asterisk, being able to gain a foothold in the Misty Dynasty is also due to luck. Young Mansion Lord Luo, have a seat. Night Sorrow invited Luo Fei to sit. You can't use luck to erase your hard work. It's not easy. Luo Yuandao naturally knew about the conflict between Night Sorrow, Yuan Ji and Gong Yufan. Haha. Night Sorrow is very happy that Mansion Lord Luo is here. Please try this tea. Night Sorrow poured a cup of heart-cleansing tea for Luo Yuandao. Night Sorrow didn't neglect Luo Fei. He also poured a cup of tea for Luo Fei, who received it with both hands. You're too polite. I, Luo Yuandao, believe that I have a good eye for people. I didn't want to become enemies with Lord Night, because I felt that it wasn't easy for young people to come out. Of course, this isn't enough to resolve some problems. Sometimes kindness is a luxury. Most importantly, I feel that you will have a bright future, Luo Yuandao said. Mansion Lord Luo's words are too serious. However, it's rare to have kindness in your heart. Night Sorrow nodded. I just came out of Star Moon Lake, and may encounter some problems. If you need help, Lord Night Sorrow doesn't need to be polite. You can send someone to Shadow Mansion to inform me. I'm willing to make friends with you and form some good karma. Luo Yuandao expressed his willingness to befriend Luo Fei. Night Sorrow thanks Mansion Lord Luo. I will accept Night Sorrow's hospitality. Night Sorrow smiled. He felt that Luo Yuandao was definitely an ambitious person. He was decisive and didn't hesitate in the slightest. Whatever he had in mind, he would immediately make a decision. Lord Night Sorrow is young and promising. If our Luo family's children have half of your ability, then I won't have to worry. Fei, remember to be like Night Sorrow. Luo Yuandao looked at his son beside him and said. Luo Fei stood up and bowed to Night Sorrow. He had almost recovered. Luo Yuandao had paid a huge price to repair his scattered soul after the fall of his original body. His soul had also fused with his damaged body. All that was left was to perfect the fusion. Young Prefecture Lord is too polite. I can see that young Prefecture Lord's soul spirit isn't in good condition. I just went to the evil Punisher land. Please accept these flames of life, young Prefecture Lord. Yi Shang took out a jade bottle and handed it to Luo Fei. It contained 3 Heaven Monarch Realm flames of life. This is not appropriate. Today my father and I are here to congratulate Lord Night Sorrow. Luo Fei didn't bring any gifts. How can I let Lord Night Sorrow spend money? Luo Fei cupped his hands and shook his head at Night Sorrow. Mansion Lord Luo. We don't need to be so polite. Night Sorrow looked at Luo Yuandao. Fair, father has taught you not to accept the kindness of others easily. However, I have also told you not to refuse the kindness of friends. Just keep it in your heart. Accept this gift. Luo Yuandao said to Luo Fei. Luo Fei thanks Lord Night. I will remember your kindness. Luo Fei reached out and took the jade bottle in Night Sorrow's hand. After chatting for a while, Luo Yuandao invited Night Sorrow to the Shadow Mansion as a guest when he had time. He then left the Night Moon Villa with Luo Fei. This is Luo Yuandao, one of the true figures of the Ethereal Imperial City. He is loyal to the Ethereal Imperial Dynasty and is deeply trusted by the Ethereal Battle Emperor. He acts both righteous and evil but has his own judgment of right and wrong. It is difficult for him to make a mistake. This can be seen from the way he treats you. Back then, the Grand Elder of the ethereal imperial dynasty, Yuan-ji, was incomparable to him in terms of strategy and ability. He will soon rise to the top of the ethereal imperial dynasty. Lin Xianer said. He is already a mansion lord. How can he rise to the top? Datura asked in surprise. Chapter 1663. Sister Xianer, you mean that Boss Song is trusted by the War Emperor, but in terms of ability, Luo Yuandao is more competent? Knight Sorrow asked. Yes. Luo Yuandao is not as good as Song Ning in terms of battle strength, but he is better at management. Song Ning does not need any status, nor does she need to be promoted to establish her position in the ethereal dynasty. She is the sister of the ethereal War Emperor, and comes from the same family. That is enough. It was the same in the past. Do you see how Song Ning is afraid of the great elder Yuan-ji? She is not afraid at all, haha. Lin Xianer said with a smile. Indeed, Sister Xianer is right. Luo Yuandao is very calm and won't make any mistakes. Knight Sorrow nodded. That. I also know the War Emperor. If you have a different opinion, I can convey it. Lin Xianer said. Sister Xian also knows a big shot, but I don't have any opinion. I've interacted with Luo Yuandao a few times. There were conflicts in the past, but he chose to back down. Later he came to resolve the conflict. With such a magnanimous heart, I don't reject him. Through the exchange just now, I recognize his character, said Yishan. His ascension will only bring benefits to Star Moon Lake. Datura said. Lin Xian shared her thoughts with Knight Sorrow and Datura. In fact, after Yuan-ji's fall, Lin Xian already had this intention, but she didn't make any arrangements. After seeing Luo Yuandao's performance today, she was firm in her decision. Inside the Shadow Mansion, Father Knight Sorrow's rise is too fast. He is now a half-step sovereign. Luo Fei said. Once this little guy enters the Emperor realm, he'll be amazing. He won't be able to stop himself. Even the emperors of the older generation will be left behind by him. Sir War Emperor has foresight in arranging him to be the overlord. He's the second overlord in the history of the ethereal dynasty. You know the first overlord is Lin Qixing. Who dares to provoke Lin Qixing now? Luo Yuandao asked. Your son admires him. He dares to fight and fight. He's fighting his way out. Luo Fei sighed. We don't lack the fire of life of the Heaven Monarch realm, but accepting it is a sign of our attitude. Sometimes, one's attitude decides everything. Aside from the view of benefits, he was also a rare good friend. Look at that damn fatty from the pawn shop. Now that Yuan-ji had brought him along, he was also doing well. What could Yuan-ji do to him? Besides, how bad could the person that Song Ning and Wu Fing approved be? In Jianghu, you need sincere friends. Since you can admire him, it means that there is no barrier in your heart. Father can rest assured. Luo Yuandao patted his son's shoulder. Fei will always remember father's teachings. Some setbacks might be an opportunity for me to rise. Luo Fei nodded. That's enough. There's no problem with you becoming the deputy mansion lord of our shadow mansion, Luo Yuandao said. Vice prefecture lord. Father, what are you doing? Luo Fei was a bit confused, because there was no such thing as a vice prefecture lord in the 7 prefectures. Our Luo family has so many young mansion lords, but most of them are trash. In order for you to develop as soon as possible, Shadow Mansion will have a deputy mansion lord. Those emperors and commanders will also be under your command. You don't have to worry. No matter what you do, father will be there. Luo Yuandao nodded to his son. Luo Yuandao believed in destruction and reconstruction. When he found that his son's original body had an accident but didn't completely perish, he felt that this was a ray of hope in the heavenly Tao. Once he passed the tribulation, he would have a smooth road ahead. Therefore, he helped his son recover at all costs. Fei won't disappoint father. Luo Fei bowed to Luo Yuandao. Haha, this is confidence. Luo Yuandao laughed. Song Ning, I admit that you are strong. Lin Qixing, I also admit that you have great potential. I'm not as good as you in these aspects, But our Luo family will continue to have people in the future. Our Luo family is a big family. Luo Yuandao announced that Luo Fei would be the Vice Mansion Lord. This caused an uproar in the Shadow Mansion. One had to know that there were more than 10 Vice Mansion Lords and several princesses in the Shadow Mansion. Luo Fei, who had been keeping a low profile recently and whose original body was almost destroyed, was appointed as the Vice Mansion Lord. This was because there were a few Vice Mansion Lords who were stronger than Luo Fei and had more subordinates. All the core members of the Dark Shadow Manor had gathered in the Dark Shadow Great Hall, including a few elders, emperor-level commanders, and some young masters. There were 3 grand elders in the Shadow Mansion. One of them was the patriarch of a family with a different surname, and the other was the sect master of a sect. They trusted Luo Yuandao, so they joined the Shadow Mansion and became grand elders. Luo Yuandao also treated them well. Do the 3 grand elders have any objections to my decision? Luo Yuandao looked at the 3 grand elders of the Shadow Mansion. We haven't seen the Vice Mansion Lord's ability, but we know that the Mansion Lord's decision can't be wrong. We support it. The first grand elder said. Yes. Although we don't know the Vice Mansion Lord's situation, the Mansion Lord's approval can't be wrong. The second grand elder nodded in agreement. The 3 grand elders and the 2 emperor rank commanders had no objections. Then it's decided. From today onwards, Luo Fei will be the Vice Mansion Lord of the Shadow Mansion. I'll leave my words here. No matter whether his decision is right or wrong, no one in the Shadow Mansion can go against it. If anyone is dissatisfied, they can come to me after the matter is over. However, if anyone dares to contradict or disobey, they will be executed. The grand elders and commanders did not object, not because they trusted Luo Fei, but because they trusted Luo Yuandao's foresight. They trusted Luo Yuandao unconditionally. Not only did Luo Yuandao announce this within the Shadow Mansion, but he also announced this decision to the public. It could be said that he had confirmed Luo Fei as the successor of the Shadow Mansion. Knight Sorrow also received the news. This Luo Yuandao is really bold. He directly appointed Luo Fei without caring if he can convince the public, Datira said. It doesn't matter if Luo Fei can convince the public at the moment. It's enough that Luo Yuandao can convince the public. We have to congratulate Luo Fei for becoming the Vice Mansion Lord, Knight Sorrow said. Knight Sorrow did not bring any expensive gifts, as the Shadow Mansion did not lack them. He only brought 2 packets of heart-cleansing tea and 2 jars of wine from the Chaos Realm. He then brought Datira and Ji Dao to the Shadow Mansion. He could not enter. When they arrived at the Shadow Mansion, Knight Sorrow asked for an audience. The gatekeeper did not let him in because they did not know the relationship between Knight Sorrow and the Shadow Mansion. H++U++MP. This made Knight Sorrow feel conflicted. How could he congratulate if he could not enter? Haha. What's going on? Knight Overlord is blocked outside and cannot enter. Is his way of treating guests speechless? Mansion Lord Luo, Knight Overlord is here to congratulate, but cannot enter. Lin Qixing appeared. After smiling at Knight Sorrow, he shouted towards the Shadow Mansion. After shouting, he did not enter and stood at the entrance to accompany Knight Sorrow. Lin Qixing was of low birth and his path was very similar to Knight Sorrow's. He was also an overlord at first and later joined the ethereal royal dynasty to become a mansion lord. However, he joined for a reason. His master was an elder of the ethereal city Lord Mansion. Chapter 1664. Luo Fei, who was in charge of receiving the guest, also apologized to the guest and quickly went to the gatehouse. My apologies, Overlord Knight. It was Luo Fei's fault. It's not wrong for you guys to guard the place carefully, but it's your fault for not reporting in time. Go and receive your punishment. Remember not to report when Overlord Knight comes in the future. He is Lord Father's honored guest, and also a good friend of mine. Luo Fei first cupped his hands in apology to Yi Shang, then took care of the guard's mistake. Vice Palace Lord Luo is too polite. Knight Sorrow shook his head. Palace Lord Lin is here. Forgive me for not going out to meet you. Luo Fei cupped his hands and gestured for Lin Qixing to enter. Not bad, you have your father's style. Lin Qixing glanced at Luo Fei and nodded. We'll take your words as a compliment. Palace Lord Lin, Overlord Knight, please come in. Luo Yuandao appeared and invited Lin Qixing and Knight Sorrow into the residence with a smile. Vice Palace Lord Luo has taken on a heavy responsibility. Knight Sorrow is here to congratulate you. Knight Sorrow placed 2 bags of tea and 2 jars of wine on the table. Overlord Knight, it's better if you call me Luo Fei. It's too distant to call me Vice Palace Lord, Luo Fei said. All right. Today, I'm here to congratulate Brother Luo. Knight Sorrow nodded. Knight Sorrow, you're also an overlord now. You only brought 2 bags of tea and 2 jars of wine to congratulate us? Aren't you worried that Palace Lord Luo will say that our shadow residence doesn't lack 2 bags of broken leaves and 2 jars of yellow soup? Lin Qixing found a seat and sat down. Lin Qixing, are you purposely making things difficult for us? Knight Sorrow, don't mind it. Everyone, take a seat. Luo Yuandao gestured for Knight Sorrow and Datura to sit down before sitting down. I feel that the shadow residence doesn't lack anything, so I only brought 2 bags of tea and 2 jars of wine from my hometown. It's enough as long as it's a token of my sincerity, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Come, make the tea brought by Lord Yi, and let some people taste the broken leaves. Fei sit down, father is here to receive the guests for you. Luo Yuan waved his hand to the servants and then nodded to Luo Fei who was standing to the side. Luo Fei called for a servant to serve Ji Dao before sitting down. After the heart-cleansing tea was brewed, Luo Fei poured a cup for everyone, and then slowly tasted the tea himself. After drinking a mouthful of tea, Lin Qixing closed his eyes to feel it. After a short while, he opened his eyes and the first thing he did was to grab the heart-cleansing tea on the table. Luo Yuandao stretched out his right hand to press down the unopened packet of heart-cleansing tea, while Lin Qixing directly took away the open packet with his left sleeve. Lin Qixing, can you be more shameless? Not only did you not bring a gift, you even tried to snatch it? Luo Yuandao roared at Lin Qixing. It's just tea. Your Luo Yuandao doesn't care. Good things should be shared with everyone. Lin Qixing ignored Luo Yuandao's gaze and threw the open packet of tea into his storage ring after wrapping it up. He did everything so calmly. Luo Yuandao ignored Lin Qixing and put away the wine beside him. Lord Yi, you have to remember to guard against fire and theft against Qixing. Luo Yuandao, you can't ruin my reputation like this, right? Lin Qixing looked at Luo Yuandao and said, do you have a reputation? At the very least, you don't have a reputation in Shadow Mansion. Luo Yuandao said. I'm leaving. Lord Yi, come to Qixing Mansion as a guest when you have time. Lin Qixing got up and left without even looking at Luo Yuandao. Luo Yuandao didn't see Lin Qixing off. Instead, he explained to Yi Shang with a smile. Overlord Yi, don't mind this scoundrel. Although we often argue, we're still friends. He's just like that. I can see that. He's casual because we're familiar with each other. Knight Sorrow nodded with a smile. After chatting for a while, Knight Sorrow and Datura returned to Night Moon Manor with Ji Dao. Lin Qixing's visit to Shadow Mansion was a form of congratulations. Luo Yuandao was also very clear about this. When Knight Sorrow was practicing his spear at night, Ji Dao came to report that 7 Stars Mansion Master Lin Qixing had requested to see him. He had already brought him to Night Moon Manor's waterside pavilion. Why is he here? I'll go take a look. Knight Sorrow greeted Lin Xian, and Datura who were chatting by the side, and went to the waterside pavilion in front of Night Moon Manor. Lin Qixing stood up and cupped his fists when he saw Knight Sorrow. Mansion Master Lin, please excuse me for not going out to welcome you. Knight Sorrow said. I'm sorry to disturb you at this late hour. I'll get straight to the point. My father passed away at a young age, and I only have one mother. My mother loves tea, and was full of praises after drinking Lord Ye's tea today. Lin Qixing said. No problem. I only have 2 packets for now. I'll prepare more for Mansion Master Lin later. Knight Sorrow took out 2 more packets of heart-cleansing tea and gave them to Lin Qixing. You're looking down on Mansion Master Yi by saying that you'll pay for it. I'm leaving. After keeping the tea, Lin Qixing left Night Moon Manor in a flash. Knight Sorrow smiled and left the waterside pavilion. However, he saw Lin Xian, and Datura walking over. Luo Yuandao is right. 7 stars should be wary of fire and theft. Isn't this robbery? Datira said. As a son, I'm willing to take care of things for my mother. I can even say that I don't care about my face. This is filial piety. Knight Sorrow shook his head with a smile. He really didn't mind and admired Lin Qixing. Aluo, Lin Qixing doesn't take anyone's things. He won't accept anything from someone he doesn't like because he thinks that Knight Sorrow can do it. That's why he doesn't bother about trifles. Lin Xian'er explained Lin Qixing's way of doing things. In terms of understanding of the 7 mansion masters of the ethereal empire, Lin Xian'er was second to none. Someone once said that a filial person can't be too bad. Lin Qixing's eyes are sharp but innocent. He should be a maverick. Datira said. In the next 2 days, the city lord residents sent out a decree. The Shadow Mansion Master, Luo Yuandao, was also the enforcement elder of the ethereal city lord residents, and was in charge of handling the matters of the ethereal empire. Knight Sorrow didn't find this matter strange because Lin Xian'er had already predicted it that day. Knight Sorrow came to congratulate him again. At the same time, the god-slaying team arrived at the Night Moon Villa. Knight Sorrow's 2 disciples, Ning Yun and Chiyue, also came. Knight Sorrow held a banquet for them. Knight Sorrow was especially happy. He clinked glasses with each of his brothers and drank. Long Jin, Lei Bao, Lei Zhang, Yun Huang, Ho Jian, Shui Ling, Nan Liyue, Ling Long, and Qian Ziwei were all brothers and sisters that he valued. There was no need to mention Qin Zhen, who was his earliest brother. 13th brother, I thought you didn't care about us anymore. Tianyu, who was sitting beside Knight Sorrow, said softly. That's right. I haven't seen 13th brother in a long time. Yi Mei's eyes were a little red. You guys are thinking too much. I just came to the celestial realm, and didn't have a firm foothold. If there was danger, I wouldn't dare to bring you guys here. You guys are my brothers and sisters. How can I not care about you? Knight Sorrow turned around and hugged Tianyu and Yi Mei. Look. F authentic. Chapter 1 Unspecified Currency. Lin Xian'er, who was standing in the distance, looked at the group of people drinking with shock in her eyes. Azure Rock Bloodline, Nine-Tailed Fox Bloodline, and Top Dragon's Bloodline. What kind of bloodline is this? Chapter 1665. Whether it was the Azure Rock Bloodline, the Nine-Tailed Fox Bloodline, or the Top Dragon's Bloodline, any one of them was enough to scare people to death. Void World. Just how many people have planted seeds in the new Void World? Lin Xian'er muttered to herself before disappearing into the night. The battlefield of our rise has shifted to the celestial realm, but to be honest, we are all trash, so we have to endure and develop our strength. Don't go out looking for trouble. Longjin, look after them. Knight Sorrow said to Longjin. Captain, everyone is very obedient. Longjin said with a smile. At this time, Longjin was really rising rapidly. He was already a 6-star king. Look at the original chapter section above Q. With Knight Sorrow's help, the accumulation of energy was not a problem for everyone in the god-slaying squad. Even time was not a problem. Because of the auxiliary body of the Clear Sky Pagoda, everyone had to pay attention to the increase of their realm. Hong Yi and Lanning are the housekeepers here. If there's anything you need, you can look for them. If there's anything you don't understand about cultivation, you can look for me or Aluo. Also, Chiyue, pay attention to your rest. If you don't pay attention, you will become a grandmaster. Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Chiyue was currently pregnant. After leaving, Knight Sorrow entered the Dragon Cauldron and refined a batch of Star Moon Lake imprints. It was only a small array sign. After refining it, Knight Sorrow injected the void energy, causing the square-inch imprint to emit a faint purple light. Knight Sorrow took the purple imprint and gave it to Datira. Aluo, distribute it to everyone. Send a batch to my master as well. Tell him that those who are not from the primal chaos realm are not to touch this thing. Knight Sorrow gave the gold spirit an order. If cultivators with malicious intent or killing intent entered the Night Moon Villa, the Star Moon Lake imprint would distinguish between friend and foe. In addition, the gold spirit could distinguish between hostility and non-hostility. Knight Sorrow was just reminding them. On this Knight Sorrow, while guiding Ning Yun and the members of the god-slaying squad in their cultivation, He suddenly stopped moving. Flames appeared on his head, and below the flames was a black whirlpool filled with wind energy. Step back, don't get close. Jinling, protect me. Datura shouted. Lin Xianer also appeared, soul-extinguishing flame, destructive divine wind. This is the wind-fire tribulation of the Emperor realm. After speaking, Lin Xianer left the Night Moon Villa in a flash. After leaving the Night Moon Villa, Lin Xianer arrived at the teleportation array as quickly as she could and started the teleportation. She was teleporting towards the Heaven's Vault tribe. She knew that Night Sorrow's original body had made a breakthrough towards the 9th stage. At this time, no one would disturb him, because Night Sorrow was the center of the laws of heaven and earth during the tribulation. But what about after the tribulation? After successfully passing the tribulation, the man-made tribulation would arrive. Lin Xianer was worried that the Heaven's Vault tribe would make things difficult for Night Sorrow. They would invite Night Sorrow to join the Heaven's Vault tribe. If he refused, it would be a disaster. According to Night Sorrow's character, it was impossible for him to join. Lin Xianer's doppelganger set off first, followed by her original body. She was prepared for a big battle. If the high priest of the Heaven's Vault tribe made a move, she would fight with all her strength. Night Sorrow, who was cultivating at the Heaven's Vault cliff, originally had the fastest advancement of his will of destruction. He had already entered the 5-star king realm. After all, it was the sole power of a half-step emperor, so the comprehension of his will was fast. Next was the advancement of his domain of nothingness. As for the space-time attribute, it had always been a bottleneck. However, just as Night Sorrow was stabilizing his cultivation, the baleful earth chi appeared at the top of the Heaven's Vault cliff. A cycle of violent impact collided with the energy in the void, producing space-time destruction. Watching the destruction of space-time, Night Sorrow broke through the bottleneck of the space-time attribute. After breaking through the bottleneck of the space-time attribute, Night Sorrow's comprehension was unstoppable. The 7th bloodline talent energy point was activated, and the space momentum burst forth. Even the time momentum appeared and began to revolve around Night Sorrow. The space-time attribute heaven and earth momentum formed the space-time domain. As Night Sorrow's 7th bloodline talent energy point continued to release the heaven and earth momentum, Night Sorrow's space-time domain became more and more mature. In less than 7 days, he completed the transition from the generation of heaven and earth momentum to 10%, crossing the threshold of the Emperor realm. At this time, the members of the Heaven's Vault cliff who had received the news also arrived. They didn't intend to do anything to Night Sorrow. Even if they wanted to, they couldn't do anything at this time. Because the laws of heaven and earth were irreversible. Night Sorrow's Emperor realm tribulation had arrived. It was the soul-extinguishing flame and the destruction divine wind. Any one of them would be fatal, so no one dared to approach. Night Sorrow sat there cross-legged, surrounded by the destruction divine wind, and enveloped by the soul-extinguishing flame. Whether it was the destruction divine wind or the soul-extinguishing flame, once it entered the body, it would be obliterated and die. To control the heaven and earth momentum, one had to be tested by the heaven and earth tribulation. If one passed it, one would be like a carp leaping through the dragon gate. If one failed, one would die. One had to pay the price of not having the ability to touch the heaven and earth momentum. The high priest of the Heaven's Vault tribe also arrived. Standing beside him was Commander Yu, the strongest soul-extinguishing flame and destruction divine wind. An unparalleled talent will also face an unparalleled tribulation. I don't know if he can pass it. If he can, we really need this person. This is a deviation from my original estimation. The high priest of the Heaven's Vault tribe changed his opinion. Lin Xian, sped up the teleportation. She even used her own energy to replace the Saint Spirit stones to activate the teleportation array and increase the speed of the teleportation. Originally, a teleportation would take 15 minutes, but she completed it in a moment. She knew that this was Night Sorrow's crisis. Night Sorrow sat cross-legged and activated his leakless true body to resist the invasion of the soul-extinguishing flame and the destruction divine wind. One attacked the soul, and the other attacked the body. The tribulation of wind and fire was to obliterate the cultivator's body and soul. His defense was very stable. This was the most crucial step in the cultivation journey. Night Sorrow was very cautious. He didn't have any way to counterattack. He could only rely on defense until the destruction divine wind and the soul-extinguishing flame dissipated. The cultivators who were meditating near Night Sorrow also left. Night Sorrow had the most destruction divine wind and the soul-extinguishing flame. But there was also the destruction divine wind and the soul-extinguishing flame that suddenly appeared around him. This was a warning from the heavenly Tao not to interfere with the tribulation. He could only resist it head-on. Night Sorrow's heart was as calm as still water. He activated his leakless true body to resist the suppression of the tribulation of wind and fire. In his extremely calm state of mind, Night Sorrow discovered that there were some wills in the destruction divine wind that he hadn't comprehended yet. He immediately immersed his mind and continued to comprehend them. The destruction will appear on Night Sorrow's body, and the power of the destruction will continue to rise. This is a madman. He's still trying to comprehend the destruction divine wind during his tribulation. Commander, you muttered. He has so many terrifying attributes. This is a monster. He will either rise up or fall. There is no other possibility, High Priest Heaven said. With a tyrannical soul power as a foundation and a calm state of mind, Night Sorrow's control over the destruction will rapidly improve. From the 5-star king realm, he entered the 6-star king realm. He didn't stop there either. He advanced all the way to the 7-star king realm, reaching the high-level destruction king realm. The attribute laws and wills contained in the tribulations of the world were the most complete. Just like the lightning tribulation, it was a complete fusion of the lightning attribute laws and wills. The destruction divine wind contained the most complete laws and wills, which was what Night Sorrow needed the most. Speak. Chapter 1666. The laws and willpower of the tribulations were the most complete. Of course, no one would think of using these laws and willpower during the tribulations. This was because the tribulations were deadly. If one wasn't careful, they would be destroyed by the tribulations and be consigned to eternal damnation. Night Sorrow was very stable now. His leakless true body was consumed by the tribulations of wind and fire. If he ran out of energy first, he would be destroyed by the tribulations of wind and fire. If the energy of the tribulations of wind and fire was exhausted first, he would become an emperor. Therefore, if he could comprehend it now, he would naturally do so. Night Sorrow's body was surrounded by the destruction divine wind. However, there was also the rolling destruction willpower in the destruction divine wind. The destruction willpower wasn't driven by the destruction divine wind. It existed independently and belonged to Night Sorrow. A genius. No wonder Lin Piamiao thinks highly of him. However, our Heaven's Vault tribe wants this person. Whether he accepts our recruitment or not, we have to control him. Before Lin Piamiao reacts, we have to deal with him, Heaven's Vault High Priest said. Commander Yu and the 2 men who came later nodded. Night Sorrow's destruction willpower didn't stop after reaching the 7-star king realm. It continued to increase, but the speed was slower. After all, the remaining 30% of the destruction willpower wasn't that easy to capture. The soul-extinguishing flame burned, trying to drill into Night Sorrow's spirit sea and destroy his soul. The destruction divine wind rolled around Night Sorrow's body, trying to take away his life force. One was from the outside in, the other was from the inside out. They were 2 different extremes. Night Sorrow's leakless true body locked his body, not letting the soul-extinguishing flame enter his body, and not letting his life force be taken away by the destruction divine wind. The soul-extinguishing flame burned more vigorously, and the destruction divine wind became more violent. However, Night Sorrow was still as gentle as Mount Tai. The intensity of the destruction divine wind made it easier for Night Sorrow to comprehend the destruction willpower. This guy is still enjoying it, Commander Yu muttered. At this moment, many people were watching. After all, the wind and fire tribulations of Emperor Realm weren't easy to see. Some heaven monarchs would break through in secret places, or under the protection of their sects and elders. This way, they wouldn't be exposed in front of others. Time slipped away bit by bit. Night Sorrow endured the tribulation of wind and fire. No one could feel how strenuous it was for Night Sorrow. That was the truth. Night Sorrow was using the myriad Daos treasured tome to activate the virtuous immortal body. What he was using was the space-time energy. Night Sorrow knew what to do. If the energy in his body was not enough, he would use his Zhenqi of Void. Even if he ran out of Zhenqi of Void, he still had destruction energy and death energy. He would have no problem recovering unless the wind and fire calamity changed. Night Sorrow had taken 2 days to teleport to the Heaven's Vault tribe, but Lin Xianer had taken more than half a day to arrive. When Lin Xianer arrived at the Heaven's Vault tribe, she changed into a golden battle suit with a long sword hanging from her waist. This was the attire of the ethereal battle emperor, Lin Piaomiao. She didn't want Night Sorrow to know that Lin Xianer was the misty battle empress, and didn't want to ruin their friendship. Besides, Lin Xianer wouldn't be able to control the situation even if she came. Lin Piaomiao even felt that a clone wouldn't be enough. Lin Piaomiao is here. She's fast. Looks like things aren't going so smoothly. Heaven's High Priest looked in the direction that Lin Piaomiao had come from. So fast. Ethereal Imperial City needs close to 2 days to teleport here. That brat has only broken through for less than a day. Commander, you said in surprise. Looks like that brat has a clone in Ethereal Imperial City. Lin Piaomiao immediately knew about his tribulation. Heaven's High Priest fell into deep thought. At this moment, Lin Piaomiao appeared. She appeared near Night Sorrow in the blink of an eye. Battle Empress, why are you in the mood to visit my Heaven's Vault tribe? Heaven's High Priest greeted. I'm not in the mood. It's just that the overlord of my ethereal dynasty is breaking through. I'm here to protect him. Could it be that Heaven's High Priest is here to comprehend something? Lin Piaomiao asked. He's the overlord of the ethereal dynasty? From what I know, the overlord belongs to the ethereal dynasty. Lord Battle Empress, you don't have to be so nervous, right? Heaven's High Priest said with a smile. Does it matter if he's an overlord or not? What matters is that he's from the ethereal dynasty. That's enough. Lin Piaomiao said. Ethereal Battle Empress, this is the Heaven's Vault tribe. It's better not to speak too loudly, Commander, you said. Who are you to speak here? If I want to kill you, he can't stop me. Lin Piaomiao snorted coldly. The he she was referring to was naturally High Priest Piaomiao. Commander Yu, don't be rude. Heaven's High Priest waved his hand at Commander Yu. He didn't say anything else, but his fingers trembled and light emitted from them. A moment later, Heaven's High Priest raised his head. Since he's someone that Ethereal Battle Empress thinks highly of, I'll give in this step. Lord Piaomiao, you must remember the Heaven's Vault tribe's kindness. Let's go. After speaking, Heaven's High Priest left Heaven's Vault cliff with Commander Yu. Lin Piaomiao stabbed the sheathed longsword in her right hand into the ground. Her eyes behind the veil scanned the surroundings. Unrelated people, retreat 30 miles. After hearing the conversation between Ethereal Battle Empress and Heaven's High Priest, the onlookers knew Ethereal Battle Empress's identity. No one questioned Ethereal Battle Empress's words. They all retreated 30 miles. Commander Yu, who had left Heaven's Vault cliff, was puzzled. High Priest, we should kill that kid. This is equivalent to giving the Ethereal Dynasty a heaven-defying seedling. He's a virtuous person. Killing him will harm our own luck. Also, if we don't leave now, Lin Piaomiao's true body will come. She'll attack you. What you said just now triggered her killing intent. Her true body will arrive in an hour, Heaven's High Priest said. He didn't speak just now because he was using the art of destiny to deduce. Commander Yu was stunned for a moment, because he hadn't expected this. Lin Piaomiao's direct combat ability is strong. It's hard for me to restrain her. So there's no need to go against her. Heaven's High Priest explained the reason why he let go. He didn't want to go against Lin Piaomiao. After Lin Piaomiao's true body arrived, she merged with her doppelganger and stood there watching Night Sorrow go through the wind-fire tribulation. Night Sorrow comprehended the will of destruction during the wind-fire tribulation. Lin Piaomiao was very impressed. In the past, no one had done this. It could be said that no one had the spare energy to do so. But now, Night Sorrow's will of destruction was increasing to a visible degree. Lin Piaomiao didn't let down her guard. Heaven's High Priest wasn't a simple person. It was hard to say if he would really retreat because his reputation wasn't very good. He didn't care about face when doing things. He only pursued the greatest benefits. Night Sorrow was now fully focused on resisting the wind-fire tribulation and comprehending the will of destruction. He didn't know what was happening outside. At this time passed very slowly. The people watching from afar were all paying attention to Night Sorrow's situation. Because if the cultivation went smoothly, they might also reach the same level as Night Sorrow. It was better to have a situation to learn from. After the will of destruction reached completion, it didn't stop. But Night Sorrow's divine wind of destruction and soul-extinguishing flame had already started to weaken. Lin Piaomiao even felt that if the wind-fire tribulation passed later, it would be more beneficial for Night Sorrow. If the will of destruction reached completion and entered the Emperor realm, that would be amazing. Speak. The second update has arrived. Thank you to a Chunxian trading company for your protection. Also, I haven't exploded recently. Let me explain. Recently, there's been no electricity at home. I've been going out to look for electricity. I use my notebook to write, and then use my phone to send books. It's already not easy to maintain a minimum of 4 updates. I've persevered a lot. So I don't need to gain sympathy, but I will work hard to do what I should do. When the electricity comes, I will explode. The one who wants to explode the most is not only the fans, but also myself. The effort and the reward are proportional. I also want to write more. Of course, I won't fill it up. Chapter 1667. The destructive wind weakened? Night Sorrow still felt that it wasn't enough. Next, the destructive intent vibrated, increasing the intensity of the destructive wind. Then he continued to comprehend the destructive intent within. Crazy. At this moment, Yishang was acting very crazily. Other people would be eager to pass their tribulation as soon as possible, but what about Yishang? What he needed to do now was to stimulate the divine wind of destruction, increase its violence, and stimulate its will to manifest. Lin Piaomiao felt that she had been daring all this time, but compared to Night Sorrow, she was still a little lacking. One had to know that the tribulation had many variables. Passing it first was the safest thing to do. After all, there were still many opportunities to comprehend the intent. Night Sorrow was taking a risk. Translator, Nyoibo Studio Editor. Nyoibo Studio. In fact, Night Sorrow was very confident. He still had 80% of the void chi in his body. He could deal with any unexpected situations. Many people understood what Night Sorrow was doing. They were all very impressed. At this time, Lin Piaomiao looked up at the sky. There was a strong energy fluctuation. Just as Lin Piaomiao was worried, there was a singing sound in the sky. Then, golden lotuses appeared and floated in the sky. Then one by one, they fell towards Night Sorrow. Light of merit. It was the light of merit descending. After Night Sorrow entered the Emperor realm, he attracted the heavenly tribulation. Naturally, he was covered by the heavenly law. His merit from killing evil spirits in the evil Punisher land was naturally discovered by the heavenly law. Therefore merit descended. Sound of nature. Golden lotuses blooming in the sky. This is the scene right now. It was difficult to obtain merit in a small or high-level world because the living beings you benefited were limited. But in the celestial realm, there were countless living beings. Night Sorrow killed thousands of evil spirits this time. To the celestial realm, it was immeasurable merit. The golden lotus of merit was very domineering. It directly dispersed the soul-extinguishing flame and entered Night Sorrow's spirit sea. Night Sorrow's leakless true body couldn't block it. The golden lotus of merit directly entered his spirit sea. Night Sorrow's head was covered in the golden light of virtue, and his body was wrapped in the divine wind of destruction. Wind of destruction strengthen. Night Sorrow felt that he now had some ability, so he opened his mouth and said, following the words of Night Sorrow in the mansion of Night Sorrow, the divine wind of destruction on his body had indeed strengthened a little. Words were law. Although Night Sorrow's merit cultivation had not reached the level of the merit heavenly lord, it had reached the critical point of the merit grand sage. After saying that, Night Sorrow continued to comprehend the will of destruction. Too monstrous. This was Lin Piamiao's evaluation of Night Sorrow. Not only was he able to increase the might of the tribulation, but he also dared to increase the might of the tribulation. This was definitely unprecedented. Night Sorrow was still comprehending, but when his will of destruction reached 90% and reached the level of an overlord, the destructive wind dissipated. Night Sorrow did not use the power of the deluxe merit Grand Sage anymore. Some things could only be done once. There was no benefit in going against the will of the heavens. The destructive wind dissipated, and auspicious clouds appeared in the sky, landing on Night Sorrow's body. The heavens rewarded him with energy. Night Sorrow used his leakless true body to wrap all the energy into his body, so that it would not dissipate. Then Night Sorrow stood up and looked at Lin Piamiao. Although he had been in the midst of the tribulation, Night Sorrow still knew some things. He knew that Lin Piamiao was guarding him. Congratulations. Lin Piamiao extended her right hand and grabbed the long sword. Thank you for protecting me. Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards Lin Piamiao. It's nothing. Lin Xian'er informed me, so I naturally had to protect you. Moreover, you are the leader of the Misty Dynasty. I can't let any Tom, Dick, or Harry disturb your breakthrough. Lin Piamiao said. War Emperor? Hearing Lin Piamiao's words, Night Sorrow had more or less guessed. Of course, he did not know about the conversation between Lin Piamiao and the High Priest. Yes, it's me. Are you all right now? Lin Piamiao nodded and asked. Very good. My space-time attribute has entered the Emperor realm. However, my other comprehensions are still lacking. Night Sorrow turned to look at the sky cliff. You want to comprehend the will. I will find a place for you. This is not a good place. The High Priest has been here before. Lin Piamiao could see that Night Sorrow did not want to leave. However, this was the territory of the Sky Cliff tribe. Lin Piamiao was not afraid. However, if Night Sorrow stayed here, it was hard to say what would happen. She could not stay here forever because the Zhaohua dynasty and the Celestial sect were not very obedient. Thank you, War Emperor. Let's go. Night Sorrow nodded. Then Night Sorrow and Lin Piamiao left the Sky Cliff tribe and teleported back to the Misty Dynasty. At that moment, Yishan, who was inside Yeyue Manor, had returned to his normal state. However, the aura emanating from his body had changed. Yishan's figure appeared illusory. Looking at him, it did not feel like him at all. This was the overbearing power of the space-time domain, illusory yet real. Master, what happened to you? Ning Yun, who had been waiting by the side with the members of the god-slaying team, asked. You idiot. Your master has become an emperor. He is now a rank 9 Emperor Realm cultivator. Datira said. She was very happy because this was a milestone in the transformation of a cultivator. Congratulations, Master. Ningyan bowed to Night Sorrow. Congratulations, Uncle. With a big belly, Chiyue, who was sitting at the side, stood up and bowed to Night Sorrow. Chiyue, what are you doing? Come and sit over there. Night Sorrow quickly helped Chiyue up and asked her to sit down. Congratulations, Captain. Congratulations, Brother 13. The members of the god-slaying team roared and congratulated him. Thank you, brothers and sisters. I came to the celestial realm to pursue this step. I want to break the shackles of the 9-domain world and the primal chaos realm that prevent us from becoming an emperor. Breaking the shackles today is a historical moment for me, Night Sorrow. It is the completion of a transformation. However, it is also a step for the rise of our world. In the future, all of you can do it. I am very happy that all of you were by my side when I achieved success. Night Sorrow said some of the words in his heart. Night Sorrow, we have to celebrate. We have to send the news back. Datira said. It is indeed something to be happy about. Send the news back and let everyone be happy. Night Sorrow nodded. Night Moon Villa was filled with a festive atmosphere. Large red lanterns were hung at the door. However, Night Sorrow was still cultivating and familiarizing himself with the effects of the space-time domain. The space-time domain allowed Night Sorrow's speed to increase. Within his domain, he could teleport to any location in an instant. In addition, the time and space within the space-time domain could be changed. For example, when a sword chi entered the space-time domain, Night Sorrow could decelerate time. At the same time, he could use a few spatial folds to resist the power of the sword chi. In other words, he could not be in the same space as the energy that attacked him. The effect was extremely strong. Without any domain to resist his domain, Night Sorrow was the ruler of the spacetime domain. He was invincible. As there was no hurry, Night Sorrow's original body and Lin Piaomiao returned to the ethereal imperial city in 2 days. Lord Night, you have reached the Emperor realm in less than 200 years. This is an unprecedented feat. It is the Misty Dynasty's fortune to be able to appear in the Misty Dynasty's territory. If Lord Night has any difficulties, you can find me at the City Lord's mansion anytime, Lin Piaomiao said as they parted. Chapter 1668. Yishang thanks Your Excellency Battle Emperor for taking care of Star Moon Lake. I thank Your Excellency Battle Emperor for protecting us. If Your Excellency Battle Emperor needs my help, I will not refuse, said Yishang. Sometimes, things cannot be tied to benefits. I'll help you. Although you've become an emperor, you're still an initial emperor. You must continue to work hard. With your battle strength, you might have some say in the Imperial Emperor realm. Lin Piaomiao said. I will continue to work hard. Night Sorrow nodded. I have high hopes for you. Lin Piaomiao said and left. Night Sorrow left the teleportation array and flew towards the Night Moon Villa. He planned to rest for a while before continuing to find a place to cultivate. He wanted to perfect his nihility domain and destruction intent as soon as possible. Night Sorrow returned to the Night Moon Villa and merged with his clone. Lin Xian also returned to the Night Moon Villa. Congratulations on successfully passing the trials of wind and fire and becoming an emperor. Lin Xian was wearing a white dress, which was completely different from Lin Piaomiao. Thank you, Sister Xian, for asking for help. If the Battle Emperor hadn't arrived in time, I would have been in trouble. Night Sorrow said with a smile. We're friends, so there's no need to be so courteous. Just now, the Battle Emperor came back and told me that everything went smoothly. Also, she'll arrange for us to go to the evil punishing grounds as soon as possible. This is a map from the Battle Emperor. Lin Xian handed a map to Yishan. After taking a look, Night Sorrow realized that there were 2 key markings on it. One was the Nihility River, and the other was the Sea of Destruction. One was the place to comprehend the Nihility attribute, and the other was the place to comprehend the Destruction attribute. Night Sorrow nodded and kept the map. This was the place he would go after resting for a while and stabilizing his cultivation. At this moment, Song Ning and Wu Feng also arrived at the Night Moon Villa. You bastard! Why didn't you inform me of such a joyous occasion? Song Ning patted Night Sorrow's shoulder heavily when he saw Night Sorrow. That's right. Why didn't you inform Big Brother that you've entered the Imperial capital? We only found out when we saw the big red lantern outside your door, Wu Feng said. Send out invitations to the 7 prefectures. Let them know that Night Sorrow is also a great emperor cultivator. Let them know that they were blind to provoke you. Song Ning made the decision for Night Sorrow. All right, then I'll listen to you. Night Sorrow nodded. The news spread out like a storm, sweeping through the entire ethereal imperial city. Gong Yufan received the invitation, but it felt hot in his hands. His heart was filled with worry. What if Night Sorrow challenged the Emperor Realm cultivators of Moon Gazing Manor? Moon Gazing Manor had many heaven monarchs, but only one great Emperor Realm commander. If the only great Emperor cultivator was heavily injured or forced to leave, then Moon Gazing Manor's strength would be suppressed beyond recognition. Gong Yufan didn't doubt Yishang's strength. When Yishang was a heaven monarch, he was able to kill a gifted half-thearch. Once he entered the Tharch realm, he would be able to fight above his cultivation level. Gong Yufan doubted if he could handle Yishang, let alone the 1-star Tharch realm commanders under him. After thinking about it, Gong Yufan decided to find a middleman to meet with Night Sorrow to resolve the grudge. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to handle Night Sorrow's suppression of Moon Gazing Manor. Gong Yufan wasn't the only one with a headache. Young Tianlai was the same. He was also furious. His son couldn't bully someone and his helper couldn't bully someone. Now that Night Sorrow had entered the imperial capital, Sky Sun Prefecture was in danger. Luo Yuandao, who who received the invitation, smiled. Fair, do you see this? This is Night Sorrow. When he first made his move, he was a heaven monarch. He was not even a half-tharch. However, in such a short time, he has already become a tharch. He is indeed powerful. Fei, or cannot compare to him. I can only work hard to be myself, Luo Fei said. You're right. Do you want to die just because others are doing well? Do your best. Hearing your words, I'm very pleased. I'll prepare a generous gift. The celebration is the day after tomorrow. Let's go and have a look. Perhaps there will be some jokes to watch, Luo Yuandao said. Forward Si Gong Yufan and Yang Tianlai met. The two of them wanted to discuss countermeasures. They were currently in the same boat. Palace Lord Yang, now that Song Ning, Luo Yuandao, and Lin Qixing are on good terms with Night Sorrow, Bai Han from Great River Province and Han Jinyu from Suppressing Mountain Province won't support us. Even if they do, it's useless. Gong Yufan said. The 7 manors of the Ethereal Empire were Songning Manor, Dark Shadow Manor, 7 Stars Manor, Sky Sun Manor, Moon Viewing Manor, Great River Manor, and Mountain Suppression Manor. The 2 strongest manor lords were Songning Manor and Luo Yuandao of Dark Shadow Manor. 2 of them were imperial emperors while the other 5 were emperors. Gong Yufan knew that apart from Songning and Luo Yuandao who might be able to suppress Night Sorrow, the other 5 had no chance of winning against Night Sorrow. He knew how strong Night Sorrow was in actual combat. Then what do you think, Palace Lord Gong? The Battle Emperor acknowledged Star Moon Lake's power, and even issued a territorial lord's decree. That means he acknowledged Night Sorrow's identity and status. It's useless for us to use our status in Ethereal Empire to suppress him. If he uses the rules set by the Battle Emperor to challenge us, our 2 prefectures will have no place to stand. Yang Tianlai felt humiliated, but he had no other choice. That's right. Our eyes weren't bright enough this time. We can only find someone to mediate. The Battle Emperor is no longer a possibility. If we go to the Battle Emperor, we'll be asking for trouble. Both of us are in the wrong. Song Ning can't wait to kill us and won't interfere. Luo Yuandao, do you think we can turn things around if we go to Luo Yuandao? Gong Yufan asked. Right now, there are only 2 people we can find. One is one of the palace lords, Luo Yuandao, who is also a law enforcement elder. The other is Elder Lon of the City Lord Mansion. Elder Lon is powerful and prestigious, but if we go to him, we'll be scolded badly and he won't care. Yang Tianlai was a little annoyed because Night Sorrow's sudden ascension to the imperial capital had disrupted their plans. Then let's go find Luo Yuandao first. He's now a law enforcement elder and has connections with Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow will give him face. The key is whether Luo Yuandao will give us face or not. Gong Yufan thought for a moment and said. After making the decision, Gong Yufan and Yang Tianlai went to the Shadow Mansion and asked to see Luo Yuandao. Luo Yuandao naturally wouldn't refuse the 2 palace lords. Gong Yufan and Yang Tianlai went straight to the point and told Luo Yuandao why they were here. After thinking for a moment, Luo Yuandao asked, this seat didn't want to get involved in this circle. However, we've worked together for many years. This seat can pass on the message for you. But if you want to resolve this matter, have you thought about your sincerity? Luo Yuandao felt that there was nothing that couldn't be resolved from Night Sorrow's point of view. What was needed was for Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan to come up with a reasonable attitude and a reasonable price. Furthermore, he felt that this was one of the things he could accomplish after becoming the enforcement elder. Chapter 1669. Then wait for the news. Luo Yuandao stood up and brought Luo Fei to Night Moon Manor with the gifts. After Yi Shang detected Luo Yuandao's arrival, he went to the manor's entrance to receive him. Manor head Luo and brother Luo have both arrived. Coincidentally, Manor head Song and the others are also drinking tea at the waterside pavilion. Let's go together. All right. Luo Yuandao nodded. This is a gift for Night Lord. Luo Fei took out a storage ring with a red ribbon wrapped around it and handed it to Night Sorrow. Don't call me Night Lord, just call me Brother Yi. Next time, you have to learn from me. I only brought 2 jars of wine and 2 bags of tea to congratulate you. Night Sorrow smiled and accepted the gift. Ah, Night Moon Manor's threshold is not high, so this gift is not expensive. Let's wait for the next time to congratulate Night Lord, Luo Yuandao said with a smile. He knew that Night Sorrow was easy to get along with. Then the three of them arrived at the waterside pavilion. Luo Yuandao greeted Song Ning and Wu Feng. At the same time, he looked at Lin Xianair with shock and disbelief because he could not see through Lin Xianair. Estate Lord Luo, this is my sister Lin Xianair. Song Ning introduced. Luo Yuandao greets Miss Lin. Luo Yuandao's posture was very humble. He knew that Lin Xianair was not simple. Lin Xianair nodded and continued drinking her tea. After sitting down, Luo Yuandao first congratulated Night Sorrow for entering the Emperor realm. Then they talked about the main topic. Night Lord, the situation is like this. Today, Gong Yufan and Yang Tianlai came to the Shadow Estate to find me. They want to reconcile. Everyone knows that they are in the wrong. Originally, I did not want to get involved in this matter. However, I am now the law enforcement elder of the City Lord Estate. Therefore, I have to pass on this message, Luo Yuandao said. I understand. If it was before I became an emperor, I would not have reconciled. Now that I owe the Battle Emperor a favor, it is not good to capture her estate lords. I can reconcile, but it depends on their attitude and sincerity. Night Sorrow sighed. Then I thank Overlord Yi for giving me, Luo Yuandao face. I will bring these words back. Their attitude and the price they have to pay are their own business, Luo Yuandao said. All right, I have troubled you. Night Sorrow nodded. Luo Yuandao did not mention anything else. Luo Yuandao did not give him a hard time. Don't say that. After becoming the law enforcement elder, I haven't done anything yet. Lord Yi is giving me face, so there is a possibility of success. I appreciate it. You, Night Sorrow, are my friend. I have principles in my life. Lord Battle Emperor has helped me, so I won't betray the ethereal imperial dynasty. In addition, I don't make many friends, but I won't betray my friends either. Among the 7 prefecture lords, only Lin Qixing is my friend. The other is you, Overlord Night. Night Sorrow poured a cup of tea for Luo Yuandao. Since Luo Yuandao said so, he had to accept it. Then Luo Yuandao and Luo Fei left the Night Moon Estate. Night Sorrow, you are amazing. Even Luo Yuandao does not approve of me, but you became his friend. Song Ning curled his lips. If he approves, then I have to accept it. No matter what, I have to help him. Regardless of Gong Yufan and Yang Tianlia's attitude, this hatred must be resolved. Night Sorrow said. He did not mean to scheme against you this time, but he did hit Night Sorrow's weak spot. However, he did not lie. Among the 7 estate lords, only Lin Qixing has a good relationship with him, Song Ning said. Song Ning said. She also understood that Luo Yuandao's unintentional actions and words were not only effective on Yi Shang, but also on Lin Xianair's side. Of course, Luo Yuandao was telling the truth. Sometimes things are not so difficult. He treats me as a friend, so I have to help him. Night Sorrow said with a smile. After returning to the Shadow Estate, Luo Yuandao went to the pavilion where Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan were. How is the matter with the enforcement elder? Gong Yufan stood up and asked anxiously. If Night Sorrow were to fight, the first to bear the brunt of it would be his Serene Moon Estate. I pulled out my old face to plead on your behalf, and Yi Shang agreed to negotiate. However, I'll say this first. If you don't have a proper attitude and unreasonable compensation, causing Yi Shang to fall out with you, I'll also lose face. Then I won't let you off so easily. You'll have to think about how to deal with this matter. Also, remember that Night Sorrow is my friend, Luo Yuandao said. Said Luo Yuandao. He didn't want Yi Shang to suffer because Yi Shang had given him face and recognized him as a friend. Elder Luo, don't worry. We will take care of it. Gong Yufan nodded. Then Gong Yufan and Yang Tianlai left the Shadow Estate. Father, what are you thinking about? In the Shadow Estate, Luo Fei poured a cup of tea for Luo Yuandao and asked. It's nothing. I have something to tell you today. Star Moon Lake is a new force, so it's inevitable that there will be some setbacks in its development. Our Shadow Manor wants to support it. You two are of the same generation, but he is my friend. You must remember this. I don't make friends easily, but once I do, I cannot betray them, Luo Yuan explained. Fei understands. Luo Fei smiled and nodded. He also approved of Night Sorrow. He had to admit that his attitude was very good. He had really let go of the past. Actually, they don't need it. However, it is within our capabilities. Luo Yuandao sighed. 9W plus Star Moon Lake is a new force. It is good that they have no more opponents. Of course, Night Sorrow is not afraid. Luo Fei said. Of course not. Song Ning and Wu Feng are on very good terms with him. Also, the woman called Lin Xian, today is also an incredible expert. I can't tell how strong she is, but at the very least she is a monarch. He has 3 imperial emperors by his side, and is an imperial emperor himself. Who do you think he needs to be afraid of? He really gave me face today. Luo Yuandao smiled. He knew that Night Sorrow's development in the ethereal empire was unshakable. You really can't be blind. Yuan Ji was blind and ended up falling from power. Gong Yufan and Yang Tianlai listened to their father and will have to think twice. They are probably scared to death right now. We can't afford to lose too much, Luo Fei said. Those 2 bastards. If they don't talk nicely this time, our shadow estate will suppress them before Night Sorrow can deal with them. We have given them face but they don't want it. We will embarrass them. Luo Yuandao said. Gong Yufan and Yang Tianlai arrived at Guanyue Estate and entered Gong Yufan's study. Consider compensation. Luo Yuandao spoke up for us, but now he's on Yishang's side. If we can't satisfy Yishang this time, then we really won't be able to survive, said Yang Tianlai. We have to bring our troublemaker children to apologize. This is a must. Their attack on Yishang's residence was the cause of this matter. Secondly, we have to compensate them with resources. However, this is a problem. Gong Yufan sighed. Chapter 1670. Night Sorrow's family and friends had all arrived at the Night Moon Manor. Fortunately, the Night Moon Manor was thousands of miles wide, so it wasn't crowded. The Domain Lord and City Lord of the 9-domain world had all arrived. Zhu Juyun, Long Xiansheng, Xie Lanjun, Heavenly Underworld Sage and the other old sages of the 9-domain world had all arrived at the Night Moon Manor. In the Medicine Valley, Night Sorrow's senior brothers had all arrived. Of course, Guan Yi was originally at the Night Moon Manor. Night Sorrow didn't want to celebrate, but this matter was too important to the Primal Chaos world and the 9-domain world. It was also a joyous occasion. Yen Tianpa and Lin Ruoxu had also arrived. Both Taishu Yen and some people from the Heaven Profound world had also arrived. Night Sorrow received them one by one. He didn't act high and mighty just because he was the emperor. Yen Tianpa, Lin Ruoxu and Yi Qianhua came together with a young man beside them. The young man was wearing a blue battle robe. When he saw Night Sorrow, he seemed a little reserved. Domain Lord, let me introduce you. This is Shi Zhongzhou. He has already awakened some of his memories. I believe Domain Lord can recall something. Lin Ruoxu introduced. Night Sorrow greets the Middle Continent Saint King. Night Sorrow cupped his fists towards the young man. Domain Lord, you can't do this. The reserved young man panicked. There's nothing wrong with that. The Saint King of the Central Continent is a sage of the 9-domain world. This has nothing to do with your current cultivation, said Yishang. He naturally understood some things after hearing Lin Ruox's explanation. Domain Lord, don't say that. Although the 3 of us have worked hard, we didn't change anything. Domain Lord, you have completed the 9-domain world and created a new world for the 9-domain world. There is no comparison between the 2. Shi Zhongzhou said. It took a few generations for the 9-domain world to rise. Although the first few generations didn't change the situation, they left behind a strength of character for the future generations. No one can deny that strength of character is the pillar that supported the rise of the 9-domain world. I'm happy. No one has any regrets now. Night Sorrow said. After receiving the guests, Night Sorrow went to find Mo Chun and Chu Lingfei. 11th senior brother, I'm here. Night Sorrow arrived at Mo Chun's resting area. Aha. 13, shouldn't you be busy right now? Mo Chun laughed heartily. He was surprised by Night Sorrow's arrival. He knew that Night Moon Villa was full of guests that needed to be received. No matter how busy I am, it's not as important as drinking with 11th senior brother. Night Sorrow took out a jar of wine and placed it on the table. I like those words. It's still the same little 13. Emochan opened the wine jar. I remember when I was still young, 11th senior brother would accompany me when I went out to train. When I was lonely and helpless, I would turn around and look at 11th senior brother. That gave me the courage to face everything. Night Sorrow poured a glass of wine for Emochan. In the blink of an eye, quite a few years have passed. Seeing 13 grow up, as your senior brother, I am gratified and proud. Emochan sighed. At that time, I didn't have much contact with the other senior brothers. I felt that 11th senior brother was the most amiable and the easiest to get along with, Night Sorrow said. Eldest senior brother was a little strict. 12 and I were beaten up by the rattan fried meat. In our Medicine Valley Taishan Peak 13, you were the only one who didn't eat rattan, Emochan said with a smile. His eyes were a little wet. Although many years had passed, the relationship between them hadn't changed at all. I've been too busy these years. I didn't even spend time with my family and neglected my senior brothers. I feel sorry for 6th senior sister and 9th senior sister. Night Sorrow felt a little uncomfortable in his heart. 13. What are you talking about? No one is blaming you. Everyone understands you. Yanglei, Aoi, and Night Sorrow's other senior brothers of Taishan Peak arrived. 9th senior sister, you're all here. Eldest senior brother, please take a seat. Night Sorrow stood up. 13, you're too demanding of yourself. You're worthy of everyone in the world. Your senior brothers can't wait to feel sorry for you. Why would they mind? Gongxian stepped forward and hugged Night Sorrow, patting Night Sorrow's back. 13, you're in the wrong. Why don't you come and drink with 11 instead of us? Shi Tianlin said with some dissatisfaction. 8th senior brother, don't be angry. I thought it was too late, so I didn't want to disturb you. As for 11th senior brother, I know he won't mind, Night Sorrow said with a smile. No one will mind. It's rare for us to get together these years. 6th senior brother, 9th senior brother, let's drink crazily together tonight, okay? Gongxian looked at Aoi and Yanglei. No problem. Aoi wiped the corners of her eyes. She hadn't seen such a scene in a long time. Senior brothers, I can't. Our god-slaying squad doesn't go out on missions. We have to cultivate in the camp at night. That's the rule, Guan Yi said softly. 13 is the captain, right? Let him know, Gongxian said. Long Jin is currently in charge of the god-slaying squad. I'll go say hi, Night Sorrow said with a smile. I'll go. Yang Lei pulled Night Sorrow and went to the god-slaying squad's camp. 12, you're very obedient now, Shi Tianlin said as he put his arm around Guan Yi's shoulder. He's working hard. Look at us now. Other than Night Sorrow, 6th senior brother, and 9th senior brother, 12 has the highest achievements, Gongxian said. At this moment, Guan Yi had already reached the 8th level. He was just a little behind Qinzhen. It's mainly because the god-slaying squad is treated well. Tang Tian, Chu Ning, and Ma Shizhuang are all Saint Kings. If I don't try my best, I'll be laughed at, Guan Yi said with a smile. Sigh, it's not easy for you to be an uncle master, Shi Tianlin said with some emotion. Those who joined the god-slaying squad are all promising. Those who were in the same batch as them are a little weaker. The highest among them is only a high-level saint, Huan Nan said. This can't be forced. The god-slaying squad's training and experience are very intense. It's very difficult for the latecomers to catch up, Guan Yi said. He was explaining on behalf of Night Sorrow, so that others wouldn't misunderstand. Yang Lei returned with Chu Ning, Tang Tian, Ma Shizhuang, and Qinzhen. The 4 of them first greeted Night Sorrow, the captain, before greeting their master and uncle master. You don't have freedom now, do you? Back then, you cried and begged to join the god-slaying squad, Yang Lei said with a smile. 9th Martial Ant, joining the god-slaying squad was the best decision of my life. We're famous in the 9 regions world. Everyone in the Chaos Realm knows that the god-slaying squad is under the Domain Master. In the future, the god-slaying squad will also have a place in the Celestial Realm. I'm proud to be a member of the God-slaying squad, Chu Ning said. You've become promising, kid. Huan Nan nodded with a smile. Brother 13. Thank you for bringing me all the way here. Qin Jin bowed to Night Sorrow. You're the first friend I've ever made in my life. There's no need for thanks between us brothers. Night Sorrow reached out and pulled Qin Jin up, allowing Qin Jin to sit down. While drinking, Night Sorrow asked about the current situation in the Medicine Valley. Z Original and First 7. Chapter 1671. I really haven't done anything for the Medicine Valley. Eldest senior brother's words really make me blush with shame, Night Sorrow said with a sigh. You've done enough. Didn't you bring up these 4 fellows? The main thing is that your reputation can support the development of the Medicine Valley, Gong Xian said. I am indeed busy. I am not only a disciple of the Medicine Valley, but also a representative of the 9 Domains world and the 9 Domains of Chaos. If the Medicine Valley needs anything, just look for my 9th senior sister, Night Sorrow said to Yang Lei. They drank until the middle of the night. They drank until Shi Tianlin fell under the chair and started snoring. Only then did the banquet end. Night Sorrow was also helped back to rest by Yang Lei and Aoi. Everyone's cultivation was very high. Not to mention wine, even if they used energy to protect themselves, it would be useless. However, everyone drank instinctively. Naturally, it depended on one's alcohol tolerance. Shi Tianlin was not convinced and wanted to drink with Night Sorrow, but he ended up lying under the table. After sleeping for a whole night, Night Sorrow felt refreshed. After leaving the main pavilion, Night Sorrow stretched, and then rushed towards the teleportation array. At this time, Wu Lingfei in a white dress walked out of the teleportation array. Auntie Fei, weren't you cultivating in the clear sky pagoda? Night Sorrow asked. You rascal, such a big thing and you didn't inform Auntie Fei. If Auntie Fei hadn't come out of seclusion and asked the servants where everyone was, wouldn't we have missed this celebration? Wu Lingfei looked at Night Sorrow with dissatisfaction. This is my fault, Auntie Fei. Night Sorrow smiled and welcomed Wu Lingfei to the main pavilion. He then made a pot of tea. That silly boy from back then is now an emperor. Auntie Fei is very happy. Wu Lingfei's beautiful eyes fell on Night Sorrow. The scene of Night Sorrow going to East Snow Mountain was like yesterday. Aunt Fei, I will deal with the problem of the evil dragon's poison flame later. Night Sorrow said. There's no need to rush. Aunt Fei can handle it. Moreover, staying in the Haotian God Pagoda allows time to slow down by 50 times. Only half a year has passed. Wu Lingfei said with a smile. She knew that Night Sorrow was anxious, but she didn't take it seriously. Auntie Fei was the only family I had before I found my family. Of course, she's also the only family I care about now. So if Auntie Fei's life isn't good, I can't accept it. Night Sorrow said. You're already an emperor, yet you're still acting like a child. Today is the day of the celebration. Aunt Fei saw that the heaven-worshipping ceremony was already set up. Luckily, I didn't miss it. I didn't miss your good day. Wu Lingfei pointed in the direction of the Night Moon Villa's garden. Today, the garden was where the celebration would be held. It's nothing. It's just a breakthrough. Night Sorrow didn't really care about these things. There are many guests today. I need you to attend to them. Aunt Fei will go find Chu Yu and Yang Lei. Wu Lingfei smiled and left. Auntie Fei, Night Sorrow will definitely let you live happily. After this, I won't let you suffer any pain. Yi Shan muttered in a low voice. He then went to receive the guests. The guests that came today were all important figures. He had even invited the people of the Misty 7 Prefecture Lords. 01 Premier. Luo Yuandao arrived early. After Night Sorrow received him, the two of them chatted casually. After Wu Fing and Sung Ning arrived, they sat together and drank tea. Luo Yuandao expressed his congratulations and welcome to Wu Fing for joining Ethereal City's Lord Residence. He hoped that they could work together happily in the future. Although Wu Fing wasn't interested in these things, he knew that Luo Yuandao and Night Sorrow had a good relationship. So, he chatted with Luo Yuandao. Gong Yufan and Yang Tianlai arrived. However, Night Sorrow didn't receive them. Instead, it was Ji Dao who received them. Gong Yufan brought Gong Xianyu while Yang Tianlai brought Yang Yu. Bastard, why aren't you apologizing to Lord Knight? Yang Tianlai brought Yang Yu to the waterside pavilion. He kicked Yang Yu's knees and forced him to kneel on the ground. Yang Yu didn't know any better and offended Lord Knight. Please punish me. Yang Yu's eyes were filled with fear. He knew that if Knight Sorrow wanted to deal with him, he wouldn't have a good life. Even his father wouldn't be able to protect him. Gong Xianyu was also pushed by Gong Yufan to kneel in front of Knight Sorrow. He also begged for mercy. Both of you get up. At the end of the day, it's a problem with your family's education. Yishang waved his hand and helped the two of them up before tossing them to the side. He still needed Gong Yufan and Yang Tianlai to explain the situation. Lord Knight, Gong Yufan didn't educate my daughter well, and allowed her to offend you. Therefore Moon-Gazing Manor will send 8 million Saint Spirit Stones, and a street in Linhai as a congratulatory gift. It's also an apology. Gong Yufan took out a storage ring. Lord Knight, Yang Yu didn't know any better. I will punish him when I return. Please don't take it to heart. This is a token of appreciation from Sky Sun Manor. Yang Tianlai also handed over a storage ring. Knight Sorrow nodded at Ji Dao. Ji Dao accepted Gong Yufan and Yang Tianlia's gifts. Originally, I didn't want to let go of this matter. However, since Palace Lord Luo has spoken, we will settle this matter. The compensation isn't important. What's important is that Moon-Gazing Manor and Sky Sun Manor don't touch the people and properties of Star Moon Lake. Knight Sorrow stated his request. That's not a problem. I will arrange it when I return. Moon-Gazing Manor and Star Moon Lake will be friends in the future. There won't be any conflicts. Gong Yufan stated. Yang Tianlai was the same. Now that this matter was settled, it could be considered as resolving a sore point. However, he was still in pain. As the Palace Lord of Ethereal Empire, it was humiliating for him to beg for mercy. Since that's the case, let's forget about the past. Ji Dao, arrange for the two Palace Lords to go to the VIP seats. Knight Sorrow said to Ji Dao. Ji Dao brought Yang Tianlai and Gong Yufan to the VIP seats in the garden. Knight Sorrow, I thank you here. Luo Yuandao cupped his hands at Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow didn't mention any conditions. He didn't even mention anything about the compensation. This was giving him face. Palace Lord Luo treats me, Knight Sorrow, as a friend. Naturally, this matter isn't a big deal. Knight Sorrow said. These two guys don't have any strength of character. They won't amount to much. Lin Xianer's expression wasn't too good. In fact, Lin Xianer was very angry. This was the Palace Lord of Ethereal City that she didn't want to see. Sister Xianer, don't let this affect your mood. Song Ning said. Lin Xianer nodded. However, she had made a decision in her heart. She wanted to investigate Gong Yufan. She saw pain on Yang Tianlia's face just now. That was shame. However, Gong Yufan's expression was relaxed. Therefore, she felt a little disgusted. At this moment, an old man came to the door. Knight Sorrow, that's Elder Lan from the City Lord's palace. You have to go and receive him. Song Ning reminded Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow also sensed the person who came. However, he was a little surprised because he recognized him. It was Elder Nalan from the Divine Devil Castle. After hearing Song Ning's words, Knight Sorrow understood that Elder Nalan also had two identities. Chapter 1672. However, this didn't matter. Knight Sorrow knew that there wouldn't be any conflicts. He was from the God Devil Castle, and so was Elder Nalan. Neither of them would leak any secrets. If they met outside the God Devil Castle, they would use their identities to interact. Of course, it was easier to form a friendship. Elder Nalan had a high position in the Ethereal City Lord residence. If he could take care of Knight Sorrow, he would do the same. Knight Sorrow arrived at the entrance of the manor and cupped his hands towards Elder Nalan. Knight Sorrow greets Elder Nalan. Young and promising, truly young and promising. Elder Nalan continued to praise Yishang. He knew Yishang's age. For an emperor to be less than 200 years old, this cultivation speed was definitely legendary. In addition, Yishang not only had a high cultivation level, but his actual combat strength was also very strong. Knight Sorrow invited Elder Nalan to the VIP seats. At this time, the celebration officially began. There were two people hosting the celebration. One was Nine Domain World's Long Xiansheng, and the other was Reincarnation World's Qing Emperor. Night Sorrow was from Nine Domain World and Long Xiansheng gave a speech. Night Sorrow was the representative of Reincarnation World, and Qing Emperor gave a speech. After the speech, it was time for the invited guests to present their gifts. The one receiving the gifts was Hong Yi, Ethereal Imperial City's 7 prefecture lords, starting from Songning and Luo Yuandao. Songlan Prefecture's Jiang Tianheng and Jinyue Prefecture's Han Jinyue all sent gifts. Moon-gazing prefectures Gong Yufan and Sky Sun prefectures Yang Tianlai sent gifts for the second time. Last time they gave compensation. Of course, it could also be considered as gifts. However, if they didn't take out a gift today, it would be a slap to Night Sorrow's face. Next, Lin Qixing walked out. I'm a miser and won't pluck my feathers easily. But today, I must give you a piece of water chestnut dragon skin. I hope Lord Night doesn't mind. Many thanks, Prefecture Lord Qixing. Night Sorrow stood up and cupped his hands. Haha. And that's good. This seat will wait for the wine. Lin Qixing smiled and sat down. Night Sorrow, it's not easy to make Lin Qixing pluck your hair. Song Ning smiled and nodded at Night Sorrow. I am here on the orders of the Battle Emperor. 10 Emperor rank soul stones and 1 monarch pill. Elder Nayland stood up and said. Awkward silence. There was a bit of an awkward silence because the Battle Emperor had never given anyone a congratulatory gift. Even the 7 prefecture lords who had entered the Emperor realm didn't receive such treatment. This was enough to show how much the ethereal Battle Emperor valued Night Sorrow. Lord Yi, I've brought the Battle Emperor's congratulatory gift. It's mine. I'm poor. I only have a piece of time meteorite iron that I obtained in my early years. Elder Nayland took out another congratulatory gift. Song Ning and Luo Yuandao were sitting close to each other. They looked at each other. It was already surprising that the ethereal Battle Emperor had sent a congratulatory gift. Now the City Lord Residence's Elder Lan, who didn't interact much with others, had also sent a congratulatory gift. This was simply unheard of. I don't dare to refuse an elder's gift. Yi Shang thanks Elder. Yi Shang nodded at Elder Nayland. And I hope it will be of help to you. Elder Nayland nodded and sat down. Night Sorrow then walked to the front desk and thanked the people who had come to congratulate him. He also explained the development concept of the Star Moon Lake. In short, Night Sorrow is new here. I hope everyone can forgive me and help me. Night Sorrow cupped his hands to the people who had come. Then it was time for the banquet. Night Sorrow received the guests with good wine and tea. Thank you, Sister Xianer, for helping me. Night Sorrow toasted everyone and went to Lin Xianer. It's nothing. Lin Xianer smiled and drank the wine in her hand. Song Ning turned his head and pursed his lips. Nothing? She was very clear that the City Lord Residence's Elder Lan had come on Lin Xianer's orders. That was the truth. Elder Lan had sent her here to send a signal. Yi Shan was supported by the ethereal Battle Emperor, so everyone should keep their eyes open. As for Elder Lan personally sending a congratulatory gift to support Yi Shan, Lin Xianer had not expected this. Elder Lan did not have much contact with outsiders. He was the protector elder of the City Lord Residence. He would only appear when the City Lord Residence was in danger. Normally, he did not care about anything. If he wanted to fight, Yuan Ji would not have been able to become the Great Elder, and Luo Yuandao would not have taken the position this time. Lin Xian did not understand why such a person would send a congratulatory gift. Elder Lan usually wanted to distance himself from all relationships and live his own life. After pondering for a while, Lin Xianer smiled because she had figured out the relationship between the two. Some things were best left to ponder. Lin Xianer understood what was going on after pondering for a while. There was nothing in the Misty Dynasty that could be hidden from her. After the celebration, Night Sorrow sent the guests away and accompanied his fellow disciples and friends. Song Ning and Wu Feng also stayed in Night Sorrow's residence because it was very lively now. Seeing Wu Lingfei Lin Xian was once again shocked. The Ice Phoenix bloodline, this was also a pure divine beast. Just in time for Night Sorrow to arrive, Night Sorrow introduced the two sides. Young Lady Wu, Your condition seems not too good. Your breath is not very stable. Lin Xian'er looked at Wu Lingfei and said, "This is my fault. I was not careful enough." Night Sorrow explained that Wu Lingfei had been poisoned by the evil dragon's poison flame. Night Sorrow, this is not your fault. Everyone has some predestined fate. Wu Lingfei said, "If you want to resolve this, there are two ways. The blood of an emperor rank white tiger, or the blood of an emperor rank orthodox dragons." Lin Xian'er said, "I plan to take a trip to the white tiger territory. I am an emperor rank. That white tiger emperor will definitely come to kill me. As long as I can injure it and collect some blood, that will be enough." Night Sorrow spoke his thoughts. "No, the white tiger emperor is not an emperor. You cannot touch it right now." Lin Xian, directly interrupted Night Sorrow. "Is the white tiger emperor very strong?" Night Sorrow said, "The concept of the white tiger emperor is very general. The four divine beasts all have their own territories. The azure dragons are currently the representatives of the dragons, but they are only representatives. The black tortoise clan is very tyrannical, and so is the vermilion bird clan. Everyone knows that the azure dragon territory, black tortoise territory, and vermilion bird territory have many emperor realm cultivators, but the white tiger territory only has one white tiger emperor. In reality, it is not." Lin Xian'er said, "Please dispel my confusion, Sister Xian'er." Night Sorrow asked, "The white tiger territory has a world within a world. Generally, there is only one emperor realm white tiger that patrols the ordinary white tiger territory. When the time comes, it will rotate. No one knows what level of emperor realm white tiger is assigned to patrol. If you rashly enter, if it is an emperor rank white tiger, then would you not be out of luck? It is not like there are no emperor rank white tigers." Lin Xian'er said, "It's this complicated?" Night Sorrow's brow tightly wrinkled. To him, this was not good news at all. "Yes, however, you can try to purchase white tiger essence blood and dragon's essence blood. The price is a bit higher. Perhaps there are members of the two clans that have transformed into humans and are roaming the celestial realm. If the price is high enough, it is not a big deal for them to bleed a bit. It depends on whether or not you can encounter them. This depends on luck. It depends on whether or not you pay the price they want." Lin Xian'er said. Chapter 1673. Night Sorrow hadn't seen the dragon language for a while, but she knew that the dragon language had also come to the celestial realm. Like Night Sorrow, she chose to come out. "Who's the dragon language?" Lin Xian'er asked. Night Sorrow told her about his conflict with the devil blood domain and the dragon language. "Night Sorrow, let me tell you this. It's not easy to become an emperor. Don't use yourself to measure others. How big is the ethereal realm? There are trillions of living beings, but how many can become an emperor? Your primal chaos realm only has you," Lin Xian'er said. "Relying on others is never as good as relying on oneself. Tomorrow, we'll send out a notice asking for purchase. As for whether we can attract dragons and white tigers, that will depend on luck." Night Sorrow agreed with Lin Xian'er. "Yishang, you don't need to worry. It's not a big deal. Although the evil dragon poison flame is quite overbearing, it's not like Aunt Fei can't suppress it. Aunt Fei's bloodline can actually suppress it. It's just that her level is a bit low," Wu Lingfei said. Night Sorrow nodded. Wu Lingfei's bloodline and talent were very heaven-defying. It was only a matter of time before she achieved something. Night Sorrow had properties in his hands waiting to be taken over. They were two streets. Gong Yufan gave him Linhai Street, which was one of the more prosperous streets in the ethereal imperial city. There were properties on both sides of the street. Young Tianlai was the same. In order not to cause trouble for Night Sorrow and let their grudges go smoothly, he gave him a street that was closer to Linhai Street. Night Sorrow originally planned to give one to the Nine Domains world, and the other to the reincarnation world. He wanted everyone to develop on their own. However, he was rejected by Qing Emperor and the others. Long Xianxing and Taishu Yin also had the same idea. After a discussion, they decided to rent Night Sorrow's properties. After all, this was a huge foundation and belonged to Night Sorrow alone. It had nothing to do with the primal chaos realm. Translator, Nyoibo Studio Editor. Nyoibo Studio. For the convenience of development, Night Sorrow left it to Red Spectre, who had better management skills, to manage. Not only did they not charge rent for the time being, but they could also provide Holy Spirit stones if needed. However, Night Sorrow told Redcoat that the last good spot was for his own use because it was reserved for Chin Chin. After that, Night Sorrow found Chin Chin, who had not returned to Nine Regions City, and was still in Star Moon Villa. "You're busy, don't worry about me. I've already told you last time. When you're not busy, we'll chat and drink tea again." Chin Chin, who was enjoying the scenery with his two sons, Yi Qianhua, Chin Zhukong and his wife, asked them to leave. He knew that Night Sorrow was busy. "Sworn brother, are you sure you want to drive me away?" "Originally, I had a good shop that I wanted to make into a tea house, but I can only forget about it," Night Sorrow said. "Don't. Where is the store? Take me to see it." Opening a tea house in the celestial realm is the way to do business. Chin Chin quickly stopped Night Sorrow. "I don't know exactly where it is, but we can go and take a look," Night Sorrow said with a smile. After that, Night Sorrow took Chin Chin's family and Redcoat to Lin High Street. Redcoat was in charge of Lin High Street, so she knew everything. It was a property in the center of Lin High Street, and there was a villa behind it. "Young master, this is the best shop on Lin High Street. The location is the best, and the style is also the best." After the people of Guanyue Mansion withdrew, Redcoat didn't let anyone touch it. Redcoat said, "Sworn brother, this place is yours from now on," Night Sorrow said. "What? If you give this property to me, does this belong to you?" Chin Chin looked at Yi Shang with some surprise. "It's mine. You can do business in the future. If you want to be the biggest boss in the Chaos Realm, I'll naturally support you," Night Sorrow said. "The value of this property is estimated to be very high and the location is so good." Chin Chin was a little emotional. "This is the best property on Lin High Street. It's estimated to be around 5 million Holy Spirit stones." Redcoat explained the situation. 5 million, my goodness. I'll take it for a few 100,000. 5 million is not enough even with all my assets. I can't take it. Night Sorrow, lend it to me first and then rent it to me. Chin Chin thought for a moment and said, "Do we need to do this between us brothers?" Night Sorrow said with a bitter smile, "We don't need to do this between brothers, but I'm still a businessman. It's settled then. This is a good shop. Zhukong, don't go to the Nine Zones world for now. Help father support this place." Chin Chin walked directly into the shop. "I really don't understand the world of businessmen." Night Sorrow looked at Redcoat and said helplessly, "This is the principle." Redcoat said with a smile. After looking around, Chin Chin was extremely excited because he liked this place. "Night Sorrow, if you're tired in the future, this is where you can drink tea and rest. Redcoat, you'll take care of this business, right?" "I'll talk to you," Chin Chin said. "I really don't understand you guys. I don't care, but I need good tea to receive guests. I can't do without good tea." Night Sorrow looked at Chin Chin and said, "I know you need it. Your brother is not only a tea shop owner but also a restaurant business. Before coming here, I've prepared everything for you, but I didn't give it to you." Chin Chin took out 2 storage rings and handed them to Night Sorrow. "You're a businessman. Are these gifts or for sale?" Night Sorrow asked with a smile. "Others would definitely be for sale, but you're my only brother in this life." "Do you think it's for sale?" Chin Chin glared at Night Sorrow. "You said that I'm your only brother. Then why didn't you take it when I gave it to you?" Night Sorrow muttered. "This is different. I accept your help, but there's no need to give it to me. You have the strength of character of the people of the 9 zones. As your brother, of course, I have to have that too." Chin Chin expressed his insistence. "All right, then I won't say anything more on this matter. Redcoat, in the future, I'll arrange for the God-slaying squad to patrol this area. If the God-slaying squad wants to stop for tea, they can stop here. The accounts will be settled by Night Moon Villa," Night Sorrow said to Redcoat. Red nodded. She would do what Yi Shang asked her to do. "Redcoat, if you want to start a business, you can choose any place here. If you want to get married, I'll arrange a dowry for you. The Yi family's extravagance won't be bad either. The same goes for Lanning. Night Sorrow looked at Red Coat and Lanning beside him and said. He treated them as members of the Yi family. Thank you, young master. Red Coat and Lanning bowed. Lanning, you're not as meticulous as Red Coat. Just help her. Night Sorrow said to Lanning. Young master, Old Xia and the other two wanted to leave today, but I stopped them. Lanning told them that even if they wanted to leave, they had to wait until you were done with your work, Lanning said. The Old Xia and the other two she was talking about were Summer City, Xiandaozi and Shangguanhong. You did the right thing. I'm so busy that I didn't receive you well. Brother, I won't care about your business. If you need anything, just come to me. Night Sorrow said to Chen Chen, and left Lin High Street. Father, this uncle of mine is so powerful. He's made a name for himself in the celestial realm. If I go out and shout that Night Sorrow is my uncle, who would dare to touch me? Chen Zhukong said excitedly. Smack! Chen Chen slapped the back of Chen Zhukong's head. Chapter 1674. Bastard, have your uncle's children ever said that they are part of the Yi family? But did they say that Night Sorrow was their father? But using his father's name to do things? Do you want to use my name to show off? Chen Chen was furious. Otherwise, he would not have hit him directly. Father, I was just joking. Why would I do that? Chen Zhukong said, feeling wronged. Ah Kong, there are some jokes that shouldn't be made. This has crossed my bottom line, Yi Qianhua said. Father, big brother, I know I was wrong. I won't speak carelessly in the future. Chen Zhukong admitted his mistake in a low voice. Remember, principles and strength of character are things that the Chen family must keep at the bottom of our hearts. Chen Chen reminded Chen Zhukong. Night Sorrow returned to the Night Moon Villa and went to the residence of the trio in Summer City. I heard that the three uncles are leaving. That won't do. Night Sorrow hasn't had a good drink with the three uncles yet. Your Highness, you're so busy right now. You don't have to take care of us, Summer City said. Uncle Xia, please don't be angry. What I did was really inappropriate, Night Sorrow said with some embarrassment. He had just started to receive the guests, but he was so busy that he forgot about it. Our song issued. Your Highness, if you say so, then I will not leave. Summer City's voice was not calm. What was Night Sorrow's status now? The domain master of the primal chaos realm. A rank 9 emperor, still called them uncle and apologized. Haha. This proves that Uncle Xia and the others are not angry. Tonight, I will accompany the three uncles to drink. Jidao, go and call the members of the deicide squad over. Night Sorrow shouted to Jidao. A short while later, the main members of the god-slaying squad arrived. In the future, everyone will stay here and cultivate. Those who need to stabilize their cultivation bases, head to the 9 regions world's clear sky pagoda. Also, there are 2 streets that belong to us and need to be patrolled. The god-slaying team will be responsible for Lin High Street, Night Sorrow said. Captain, our current cultivation levels are a little lacking, Liang Yu said. He was now a 6-star king and was already advancing towards becoming a 7-star king. It's a little lacking, but you guys have the combined attack array. As long as you can trap the opponent for a period of time, it will be fine. Also, I will send a heaven monarch to stand guard over there. Night Sorrow said to Liang Yu. That's good. Long Jin and Liang Yu nodded. Ah, old man, we have something to do as well. Let's help His Highness patrol. Xiandaozi looked at Summer City. That's right, Your Highness. The 3 of us don't have much to do. We're also enjoying our retirement in the Qing Emperor's dynasty. Why don't the 3 of us go to the street where Your Highness lives? Said Summer City. Sure. Then this matter is settled. Uncles, don't even think about going back, Night Sorrow said. After solving the problem of Summer City's trio, Night Sorrow went to the main pavilion. Datura and Lin Xian were drinking tea and chatting. Aluo, I think we can get Ghost Monkey here. There's no need for him to stay in Guanyue Prefecture. We won't tell him some of Gong Yufan's secrets. Knowing that Gong Yufan has a conflict with Yuan Ji and the Celestial Sect is enough, Night Sorrow said. Okay, then call him back. Datura nodded. You're really something. You have a spy in Guanyue Prefecture. Lin Xian was stunned when she heard Night Sorrow and Datura's conversation. It's not something that can be arranged. It's just a coincidence. Night Sorrow smiled and explained his interactions with Ghost Monkey. I see. Gong Yufan has lost another capable heaven monarch. Lin Xianer smiled. Gong Yufan could only be considered unlucky. After receiving the notice, Ghost Monkey immediately announced that he was leaving Guanyue Prefecture and joining Star Moon Lake. Gong Yufan was furious when he heard this. Ghost Monkey's actions were a slap to his face, but he didn't have the ability to challenge Star Moon Lake. He could only endure this. The angriest one was Gong Xianyu. His bodyguard had left. He would be a laughingstock whenever he went out. Night Sorrow arranged for Ghost Monkey to stay at Lin High Street. He set up a stronghold there, where Star Moon Lake's patrols would rest. Ghost Monkey, Summer City, and the God-slaying team would all stay there. The other street was used by the Samsara World, Xinwu World, and Xianhuang World. The patrols were arranged by Qing Emperor and the others. They just had to pay Night Sorrow rent regularly. Night Sorrow didn't need to worry about anything else. After dealing with most of the matters, Night Sorrow's main body headed to the Great Void River. Now his domain of nothingness needed to be perfected as soon as possible. As for the domain of space-time, it was already formed. He could slowly improve it. The will of destruction was still 10% away. His main body went to cultivate while Night Sorrow's clone stayed at Night Moon Villa to deal with some matters. It was quiet for half a month. One day, when he was discussing the development of Star Moon Lake with Lin Xian, the Godfiend Castle's token in Night Sorrow's sleeve vibrated. Night Sorrow knew that the Godfiend Castle was summoning him, so he went there. As soon as he entered the Godfiend Castle, Elder Nalen appeared and welcomed Night Sorrow into the underground Godfiend Castle. Congratulations. You're not even 200 years old, and you're already in the Emperor realm. This is too beautiful. Elder Nalen's face was full of smiles. You little brat, now you've caused a storm in the city. We want to apply for the position of Godfiend Protector for you. Normally speaking, with your past achievements and entering the Emperor realm at 200 years old, the higher-ups would directly approve of you as a Godfiend Protector. However, Elder Nalen and I feel that in order to avoid gossip and criticism, you should take the assessment. Then we'll report it. What do you think? Elder Nalen looked coldly at Night Sorrow and asked. Many thanks to the two elders for your support. Night Sorrow is very grateful. I accept the assessment. Night Sorrow nodded. He was willing to take the assessment. Then Night Sorrow was brought into the assessment space. There were 3 one-star Emperor-level puppets. With the space-time domain, Night Sorrow was in an invincible position. The 3 one-star Emperor-level puppets' domains were unable to suppress Night Sorrow's space-time domain. Not only was Night Sorrow's speed fast, but the Emperor-level puppets' attacks were slowed down after entering the space-time domain. Their attacks were cancelled out by the space-time domain. They were no threat to Night Sorrow. However, Night Sorrow's True Dragon Destruction and Great Emperor Samsara Slash were extremely powerful. The puppets were unable to defend against them. In just a cup of tea's time, Night Sorrow completed the assessment. Haha. In a cup of tea's time, he defeated 3 Emperor-level puppets. This is a great achievement. Night Sorrow came out and clapped his hands. Then I'll have to trouble the 2 elders for the following matters. If there's a suitable mission, the 2 elders can inform me. Night Sorrow said. There's one more thing to tell you. The Godfiend Castle's Donghao region's protector, Donghao Ju, has passed the elders' assessment. Lung Nalen looked at Night Sorrow and said. This isn't good news. Donghao Ju is an Emperor Realm expert? Night Sorrow asked. Chapter 1675. Don't worry, I'll just be careful and defend myself. Night Sorrow said. This involved the rules of the Divine Castle, so he couldn't make things difficult for Elder Nalen and Lung Lai. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow left the Divine Castle. Not far from the Divine Castle, Night Sorrow turned around because Elder Nalen had also come out. Elder Nalen, do you have anything to tell Night Sorrow? Night Sorrow asked. I'm Elder Nalen, and I'm going to the City Lord's mansion now. What a coincidence, Lord Knight. Elder Nayland said with a smile. It's really a coincidence. Go to the tea house for a cup of tea? Knight Sorrow was stunned for a moment, then smiled because Elder Nayland had completed the identity change. Sure. I've heard that the Twilight Tea House on Lynn High Street is very famous now. It's only been open for half a month, but its reputation has already spread, Elder Nayland said. Then let's go. Let's go to the Twilight Tea House, Knight Sorrow said. Knight Sorrow and Elder Nayland went to the Twilight Tea House on Lynn High Street. The Twilight Tea House was the one opened by Chun Chun. It was evening and Lynn High Street was very lively. A row of red lanterns hung in the Twilight Tea House, making it seem like a pure land in the midst of the hustle and bustle of Lynn High Street. Knight Sorrow and Elder Nayland entered and were received by someone. Knight Sorrow recognized them as he had seen them at Chun Chun's tea house. My lords, our Twilight Tea House has 4 environments to choose from. Wind, flower, snow, and moon. Which one do you prefer? The receptionist asked. Elder Nayland, what do you think? Knight Sorrow looked at Elder Nayland. I remember that the last time I was here, there was only the Wind Pavilion. There are so many choices this time? Elder Nayland asked. Our boss has made arrangements. Lord Knight Sorrow has a reserved pavilion in each area of the Twilight Tea House. There are seats available whenever you come, the receptionist said. That works too. I've heard that the Twilight Tea House is the most popular place in the moon-admiring pavilion, and it's hard to find a seat. There are moons everywhere in the celestial realm, but the moon in the Twilight Tea House is different. I'd like to see it, Elder Lon said. Knight Sorrow and Elder Lon were led to the top floor of the Twilight Tea House by the receptionist. It was an elegant pavilion surrounded by vines, with a bright moon hanging overhead. Soon after, the receptionist served the tea. I wonder if Overlord Yi and this lord would like to personally brew the tea, or do you want me to help you brew it? Go and do your work. I can do it myself. After Knight Sorrow took the tea, he personally made a pot of heart-cleansing tea. After a while, Elder Lon, who had taken a sip of tea, narrowed his eyes and looked at the bright moon in the sky through the vines. When I look at the moon again after calming down, it's really a different feeling. There is no moon in the world, but the moon in the Twilight Tea House is different. This saying is true. When one's state of mind is different, one sees things differently, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. The owner of this place is a genius. The price of tea here is dozens or even hundreds of times higher than other tea houses, but everyone is still thirsty for it. In the celestial realm, who is in the mood to drink tea, who would care about a small amount of Holy Spirit stones? The tea is good tea. The environment is good, and the Holy Spirit stones are well spent, Elder Lon said. He's my sworn brother. His dream isn't to be a high-level cultivator. He wants to be a good businessman, a successful businessman, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. He's already a good businessman. This place will become a symbol of the ethereal dynasty in the future, a place where people of high status can chat, gather, and discuss business, Elder Lon said. He was very impressed with Chun Chen's idea of running a shop. The Twilight Tea House was not open during the day, and only officially opened at night. The tea house was very large with hundreds of elegant pavilions, but it was still not enough. This was the effect Chun Chen wanted. I'll tell my sworn brother to reserve a room for Elder Lon. Elder Lon can come whenever he wants, Knight Sorrow said. Haha, there's no need for that. If there's no good seat, it's not bad to have one. Elder Lon said with a smile. At his level, he really did not care about anything. Chun Chen came and brought tea and snacks to Knight Sorrow. My sworn brother, this is Elder Lon from the City Lord's mansion. There's often no seat when he comes. Can you arrange for him? Knight Sorrow asked. Of course. I've thought about some things. I want to run the business well. This place needs to be a place where famous people gather. Of course, it's necessary to have dealings with the outside world, so no matter how good the business is, there's always a reserved pavilion. My sworn brother, your 4 pavilions are for you to receive guests, Chun Chen said. Then can you give me a few VIP cards? I'll go give them out, so it won't be awkward when my friends come and don't have a seat, Knight Sorrow said. These are VIP cards. Brother, don't give them out carelessly. The rarer something is, the more valuable it is. Chun Chun smiled and handed Night Sorrow a stack of purple crystal cards. Okay, I know. I'll try my best not to hinder you from making money, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Then Chun Chun left. He knew that it was not appropriate for him to chat with Night Sorrow and Elder Lon. He did not understand Night Sorrow's world. Night Sorrow handed a card to Elder Lon. It's okay. It's not bad to bring an old friend over for tea. Okay, I'll accept it. Lin High Street is developing very well, and is very unique. The City Lord's mansion will also cooperate with the patrols here. After accepting a VIP card, I have to do something. The main thing is that when I drink tea in the future, I won't hear any discordant sounds, Elder Lon said. $Most a new chapter, hashtag section U unspecified currency above. Then Night Sorrow thanks Elder Lon. Night Sorrow nodded. As for what you're facing now, it's not a big deal for the Donghao region to find trouble with you. They don't dare to do it directly and they can't. They can only assassinate you. As long as they don't succeed at that time, the Emperor of the City Lord's mansion will arrive. Elder Lon brought up another topic. Elder Lon did not say it too bluntly. It was enough that Night Sorrow understood. He was talking about the Donghao region's Donghao Ju. After drinking a pot of tea, Night Sorrow sent Elder Lon away, and returned to the Twilight Tea House to Chun Chen's resting place. At this time, Chun Chen was lying on a rattan chair, swaying back and forth. Seeing that Night Sorrow had come, Chun Chen wanted to stand up. Don't, I'll also lie down for a while. Night Sorrow rested on another chair. The two of them talked for a while. Everything in the tea house was going smoothly, and no one was causing trouble. They earned 60 to 70,000 Saint Spirit Stones every day. It was a very good business. Brother, you're robbing us. A day's income is probably the entire wealth of a king. Night Sorrow was a little surprised. The Twilight Tea House was earning Saint Spirit Stones too fast. They earned 1 or 2 million Saint Spirit Stones in a month. It's said that the rarer something is, the more valuable it is. If 1 Saint Spirit Stone is a big bowl of tea, who knows about the Twilight Tea House? Gradually, the price will increase. The Twilight Tea House will be the most luxurious place in the Ethereal Empire. I've already made arrangements. If a few sisters-in-law come, they'll be received and arranged. Chun Chun explained his business experience and some of his arrangements. Alright. Your business is doing well, but you have to be careful. Many people know that you're my brother. I have quite a lot of enemies. Don't go outside and don't let anyone harm you. Night Sorrow reminded. Chapter 1676. I'll be careful. Chun Chun nodded. Night Sorrow then returned to the Night Moon Villa. Where did you go? It took you so long to come back. Datira asked. Datira, Sikong Chuyu, Yang Lei, Aoi Inshi and Lin Xianer were chatting with Song Ning. I went to drink tea with Elder Lon of the City Lord's mansion. You guys don't know, but right now Foster Brothers' Twilight Tea House is booming. It's hard to find a seat, Yishan said as he sat down. Twilight Tea House? It would have been better if you didn't mention it. Wu Fing and I went there once to see the snow and wind, flower, snow and moon, but there were no seats. It was really disappointing. Night Sorrow, do you know? It costs 2,000 Saint Spirit Stones to enter the Sunset Villa's Snow Grace Pavilion. Isn't it just a snow tree made of ice and snow or? Why are so many people entering with such a high price? Song Ning was a little angry after hearing Yishang's words. Old Song, let me ask you the truth. Do you still want to go? Night Sorrow asked. I still want to go, but it's annoying that there are no seats. 2,000 Holy Spirit Stones are nothing. I can afford 20,000. Song Ning thought for a moment and said, it means that the business is doing well. So what if it's expensive? No one cares. Lin Xianer said with a smile. I asked for a few VIP cards today. Sister Xianer will give you one. Boss Zong and Brother Wufing can use one each. Night Sorrow took out 2 VIP cards and gave one to Lin Xianer and Song Ning each. Okay. It's good to know you, Night Sorrow. Song Ning said after taking the VIP cards. Night Sorrow, what should we do? Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Ninth Senior Sister, look at what you're asking. Your face is the VIP card. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Aoi and the others smiled. Chun Chen knew them, so it was convenient for them to go there. While they were chatting, Qing Emperor arrived at the Night Moon Villa. What's the matter, master? Night Sorrow asked. Yes, there is. I don't know why Donghao Mountain in the Donghao district has sent people to the vicinity of Star Moon Lake, Qing Emperor said. Something's happening at Mount Donghao. Night Sorrow understood that it was his quest at the Divine Castle that had caused trouble. How dare they? Don't they know that Star Moon Lake is now an area recognized by the Misty Dynasty? Song Ming slammed the table. The other party should know about this. That's why they've cut off one of the sources of stone that we used to construct Star Moon City from a place millions of miles away. This can't be considered as an attack. It can only be considered as an indirect suppression. The main materials that we use to construct Star Moon City are stone and wood. There are other sources for wood, but since the other party has cut off the stone, it's troublesome. Let's retreat for now and observe the other party's movements. The safety of our people is the most important thing, Night Sorrow said. Okay, then let's look around and see if there are other sources of stone. Qing Emperor knew that Mount Donghao was very strong. He had come today to explain the situation to Night Sorrow. He didn't want Night Sorrow to take the risk of going against Mount Donghao. After Qing Emperor left, Night Sorrow fell into deep thought. He then stood up and said, Aluo Night Moon Villa is operating normally. Take care of the situation at Lin High Street. I'll go out and take a look. After Night Sorrow left, Lin Xian, didn't say anything. Song Ming didn't say anything either. They would wait and see what Lin Xian meant. After leaving Night Moon Villa, Night Sorrow took the teleportation array and arrived at Donghao District. He wanted to know how strong Dong Haojue was, and whether there was a possibility of fighting him. If there was, then he would kill his way over and get rid of Dong Haojue. Night Sorrow wasn't a soft-hearted person. If there was a conflict, then he would resolve it. That assassin came to kill him and was killed by him because he wasn't strong enough. Dong Haojue wanted to suppress Star Moon Lake. This was something that he couldn't tolerate. After teleporting for 4 hours, Night Sorrow arrived at Donghao District. He then found a restaurant to drink and listen to other people's discussions. Since Mount Donghao made a move against Star Moon Lake, then there must be some news. Night Sorrow wanted to listen to other people's discussions. After walking through 4 cities, Night Sorrow heard the news that he wanted to investigate. 1 month ago, Mount Donghao's young lord, Dong Haojue, broke through and became an Emperor Realm expert. 4 to 6-star Thearchs were called Emperor Realm experts. Dong Haojue had just entered the Emperor Realm, which meant that he was cultivating at the 4-star Thearch Realm. Dong Haojue was 3 stages higher than himself. Night Sorrow knew that there was a huge gap between them. After all, there was a difference of 3 stages in cultivation. In between, there was the line between the initial and the middle stages. However, being blocked at the door without saying anything or reacting wasn't Night Sorrow's character. After pondering for a while, Night Sorrow returned to Night Moon Villa. His main body stopped comprehending the realms and started to refine the Fire of Life and Monarch Realm, and the Arch Realm Evil Spirits Fire of Life and Monarch Realm elixirs. At the same time, he asked Datura to send the Gold Spirit to Star Moon City, so that it could continue cultivating its combat skills. Night Sorrow, what are you trying to do? Lin Xian, asked as she looked at Night Sorrow, who was cultivating his spear art. She knew that the energy fluctuation on Night Sorrow's body wasn't because his clone was cultivating his combat skills. Night Sorrow's clone didn't cultivate any combat skills, but the energy fluctuation was still there. This meant that it was caused by his main body. Mount Donghao is provoking me. If they want to fight, I will accompany them. Night Sorrow kept his space-splitting spear and said, What did you find out? Lin Xianer asked. Mount Donghao's operation at Star Moon Lake was initiated by Mount Donghao's young lord, Dong Haojue. He just entered the Emperor Realm some time ago. Night Sorrow shared the information he found out. He is an Emperor Realm expert. How are we going to fight? Datura, who was standing at the side, asked. Emperor Realm expert. Emperor Realm expert is trying to scare me? If he is an Emperor Realm expert, Are all the subordinates of Mount Donghao also Emperor Realm experts? I originally planned to cultivate slowly after reaching a certain level of cultivation. Since he forced me, I will play with him. When my main body's space-time energy increases and my soul power is saturated, I will fight. Night Sorrow stated his decision. Night Sorrow, isn't it a little risky? They can't attack Star Moon Lake now anyway. Datura said. It's not risky. If I can't kill an Emperor Realm expert, I will kill them. If they are capable, they can't retreat. Night Sorrow smiled. What do you mean? You don't plan to fight them head-on and take care of the areas where they can't withstand the attacks? Lin Xian could guess Night Sorrow's thoughts. Yes, but this is also considered borrowing the power of the Ethereal Dynasty. Mount Donghao has sealed off Star Moon Lake 1,000,000 miles away, which means that they are afraid of the Ethereal Dynasty and don't dare to attack directly. However, I dare to attack them. How many Emperor Realm experts does Mount Donghao have? Isn't it just 2? They want to capture me with just 2? They are thinking too much. If they want to play, I will play with them. Night Sorrow shared his thoughts. P Yong 6 GOM, free of charge. Read Novel 7. The thing you don't lack the most in life is passion. I am envious. Lin Xianer smiled. Chapter 1677. Since you've decided, I'll support you, Datura said. We'll have to wait for a while. My original body used the Monarch Pill and Flame of Life to increase my cultivation and soul power. It'll take some time for my cultivation to catch up with my realm. Night Sorrow nodded. He was happy that Datura supported him. How many times can your time acceleration treasure be? My space acceleration treasure can accelerate time by 40 times. Lin Xianer said. She wanted to help Night Sorrow. My time acceleration treasure is not bad. It won't take long. Night Sorrow said. The Clear Sky Pagoda could accelerate time by 50 times. Night Sorrow felt that it would only take about half a year, less than a year. Normally, it would take more than 200 years for an Emperor Realm cultivator to increase one's cultivation by 1 level. However, Night Sorrow used the best resources. The Monarch Pill could increase one's cultivation by refining it. The same went for the Flame of Life. Night Sorrow had an Emperor Realm Flame of Life. Not bad. How many times? Lin Xianer was a little stunned after hearing Night Sorrow's words. Night Sorrow should be in need of time now. He actually didn't need her time acceleration treasure. My time acceleration treasure is a heavenly god artifact. The acceleration effect is not bad. Night Sorrow stammered. He didn't want to hurt Lin Xianer's good intentions. Then it's 40 times more powerful than mine. Strong enough. Lin Xianer gave Night Sorrow a thumbs up. Lin Xianer and Song Ning met in the City Lord's mansion. Miss, what's going on? Is Donghao Mountain going to attack Night Sorrow? Song Ning didn't understand. Night Sorrow didn't mention this, and neither did Donghao Mountain. However, it's obvious that there's a conflict. First, the Great Elder's son, Xian, was killed by a mission enforcer from the Divine Devil Castle. Then, one of the young lords of Donghao Mountain fell. It said that he was killed while carrying out a mission from the Divine Devil Castle. Do you understand some of these things? Lin Xianer asked Song Ning. So complicated. How should we deal with this matter? Song Ning asked. What do you mean by how to deal with it? As long as Mount Donghao doesn't attack Star Moon Lake, we won't care. As for the rest, they can do whatever they want, Lin Xianer said. The people of Donghao Mountain are surrounding Star Moon Lake and robbing the resources of Star Moon Lake. This makes me very angry. This is simply a slap in the face. Song Ning was a little angry. She felt that Donghao Mountain was bullying people. They were bullying Night Sorrow because he was a newcomer to the celestial realm. Furthermore, they were bullying her friend. Face slapping. We still don't know who will be slapping whose face. That's right. I asked you to investigate the relationship between the celestial sect and Gong Yufan. Have you found anything yet? Lin Xianer changed the topic. Yes, I've found out that Gong Yufan is very close to the celestial sect's elder Li Zhe. Through Li Zhe, Gong Yufan has also come into contact with Ling Daoxiu. In addition, there are traces of the celestial sex development in the Guanyue mansion. Song Ning said. I can tolerate some small mistakes, but why do they always touch my bottom line? Guanyue mansion will be wiped out, and a new one will be established. Wufeng will be the new mansion lord. Lin Xianer made her decision. Wufeng is capable, but he only has a few subordinates. He doesn't have enough power, Lin Xianer said. Lin Xian then called for a meeting of the mansion elders. The only mansion lords present were Tsang Ning and Luo Yuandao. Of course, Luo Yuandao was now the enforcement elder. Lin Xian announced the results of her investigation and her decision. Previously, when Yuan Ji obtained the celestial sex puppet and asked his subordinates to fight Night Sorrow, it was probably because of Gong Yufan. It doesn't matter if there are internal conflicts, but we can't betray him, Elder Lan said. I've decided to let Wufeng establish a new mansion. Elder Lan, arrange a team of guards to assist him for a period of 100 years, Lin Xianer said to Elder Lan. Look at the section in Chapter C of the original version. I understand, Elder Lan nodded. Clean up the Guanyue mansion's forces with Wufeng as the main force. Song Ning, you will transfer an army from the Song Ning army to assist. Also, capture Gong Yufan and bring him back. If he resists, kill him on the spot. I'll leave the details to you, Lin Xianer said. Everyone in the mansion bowed and accepted the order. Also, isn't the celestial sect playing tricks? If we don't play any tricks, we'll just kill our way in. This time, I want the celestial sect's territory to be 80 million miles wide. You'll work together on this matter, Lin Xianer said, then left the mansion hall in a flash. The few people in the mansion sat down and discussed the details. Lin Xian just set the general direction and left the details to them. Elder Lan, what do you think? Song Ning looked at Elder Lan. Find someone to divine the situation of Gong Yufan's original body and clone. I'll bring people to flatten the Guanyue mansion. No matter if it's Gong Yufan's original body or his clone, I'll take him down, Elder Lan said. After finding someone to divine, they found that Gong Yufan's original body was in the mansion, while his clone was cultivating elsewhere. The location was also confirmed. It was in the celestial sect's territory, in the 1,000-level catacombs, not far from the ethereal dynasty. I'll be responsible for his clone in the 1,000-level catacombs. I'll also mobilize the shadow army of the shadow mansion. Song Ning, you can let Wufeng lead it, Luo Yuandao said. It seems that Wufeng and I have the easiest tasks. All right, we'll do it together at noon tomorrow. Elder Luo will also be in the 1,000-level catacombs at that time, so we won't alert the enemy, Song Ning said. All right, it's settled. Once we're done with our tasks, we'll gather at Song Ning and Wufeng's location. Lord Battle Emperor wants us to travel 80 million miles, so we can't be less than 1 mile, Elder Lan said. Elder Lan was an elder of the Godfiend Castle, but his roots were in the ethereal dynasty. The celestial sect was disrespecting the ethereal dynasty by targeting the Guanyue mansion, so Elder Lan couldn't tolerate it. Night Sorrow's clone was cultivating the space-time domain and improving his combat ability. He didn't care about what was happening outside. However, Ghost Monkey came to report the situation. You're saying that Gong Yufan was crippled by Elder Lan of the City Lord's mansion and brought to the City Lord's mansion? Night Sorrow was surprised by the news. That's not all. The Tsangming Legion's Flying Rock Legion, Umbra Manor's Umbra Legion, and the City Lord's Manor's law enforcement squad swept through Guanyue Manor under the leadership of Tsang Ning and Lord Wufeng. The City Lord's mansion ordered Guanyue Mansion to be wiped out. The new 7th mansion will be named Wufeng Mansion, and the mansion lord will be Lord Wufeng, Ghost Monkey said. No wonder I haven't seen them for the past 2 days. It seems that Gong Yufan did something that the City Lord's mansion can't tolerate. Go and investigate, Night Sorrow said. After putting away the Space Splitter Spear, Night Sorrow brewed a pot of tea. He knew that only the Ethereal Battle Emperor could deal with Gong Yufan. He didn't know what Gong Yufan had done to anger the Ethereal Battle Emperor. Chapter 1678. Yang Tianlai was scared. He didn't know what was going on. He was worried that he and Gong Yufan had angered Ethereal Battle Emperor by going against Night Sorrow. Now that Gong Yufan had fallen, he was worried that he would be the next. Yang Tianlai knelt for 4 hours before Lin Piamiao appeared. "Greetings, my lady." Yang Tianlai bowed. "These 4 hours are your punishment. You need to remember that a person should live with dignity. You need to weigh the consequences before doing anything. This time, what you did wasn't worth it." Lin Piamiao said coldly. "I know my mistake." Yang Tianlia's face was covered in sweat. However, he heaved a sigh of relief. He knew that Lin Piamiao had already punished him and wouldn't punish him. "I didn't punish you this time because you didn't betray Ethereal Empire. Also, you know what humiliation is. Isn't it shameful to lose to Night Sorrow? Very shameful. If you know it's shameful, then you should be brave. Besides, Night Sorrow is upright. Why did you offend him for no reason?" Lin Piamiao lectured Yang Tianlai. Lin Piamiao knew that Night Sorrow was the Merit Grand Sage. Whoever offended Night Sorrow wouldn't have a good ending. Hence, she reminded Yang Tianlai. "It was my mistake. I won't do it again." Yang Tianlai said. "Alright, you can go back. I believe that after this incident, you will understand something." Lin Piamiao waved her hand at Yang Tianlai. Originally, Lin Piamiao was very angry with Yang Tianlia's actions. However, after dealing with Gong Yufan, she felt touched. She didn't want to hurt her old brothers anymore. This feeling came from the friendship between Night Sorrow and her brothers. She knew that Lin Piamiao's heart ached when dealing with Gong Yufan. It was Luo Yuandao who killed Gong Yufan. However, on account of their past relationship, they didn't destroy Gong Yufan's soul, and gave him a chance to reincarnate. Guanyue Prefecture's territory was taken over by Wufeng Prefecture. The plaque of Guanyue Prefecture was also changed to Wufeng Prefecture. The Misty City's City Lord Mansion also announced the reason for dealing with Gong Yufan. The main reason was that he shouldn't have gotten too close to the Misty Dynasty's rival, the Celestial Sect. Furthermore, he allowed the Celestial Sect to develop in the Misty Dynasty's territory. This was a betrayal to the Misty Dynasty. On the other hand, the Misty Dynasty's mansion lords and elders led their troops to push forward. They directly killed their way into the territory of the Celestial Sect. After advancing for 80 million miles, they planted the imperial flag of the Misty Dynasty there. Soon after, the Flying Rock Army began to set up defenses. The other 6 prefectures also sent out a portion of their forces to consolidate their territories. Song Ming even shouted at the people of the Celestial Sect. If the Celestial Sect dared to scheme against the Misty Dynasty again, the Misty Dynasty would attack them again. Domineering. This was the domineering aura of the Misty Dynasty. So what if the Celestial Sect had 2 monarchs? There was no need for the Ethereal Battle Emperor to step in. The Emperor of the Ethereal Empire could fight. Not to mention that the Celestial Sect's Celestial Saint Emperor was so scared by the Great Demon King that he didn't dare to show himself. Even if the Celestial Saint Emperor was here, the Ethereal Empire would still fight. KC Original Version 3**. Chapter C Section 9J above equals the Misty Dynasty had banished the family of Guanyue Prefecture's Gong Yufan as punishment. They weren't allowed to live in the former Guanyue Prefecture, which was the territory of the Wufeng Prefecture. The other 6 prefectures' territories allowed them to live and develop. This arrangement was mainly to prevent them from being hostile to the Wufeng Prefecture and hindering the development of the Wufeng Prefecture. This was a huge storm. If the fall of the Guanyue Prefecture and the rise of the Wufeng Prefecture were considered a major event in the Misty Dynasty, then the Misty Dynasty taking over the 80 million territories of the Celestial Sect was a major event in the nearby regions. In the past, the Celestial Sect had an emperor. Now they had 2 monarchs. However, the Misty Dynasty attacked them without any notice. This was how domineering they were. Of course, the Misty Dynasty had also issued an announcement, stating the reason for attacking the Celestial Sect. It was because the Celestial Sect was too despicable. In addition, they also stated that no matter which sect or force, as long as they dared to offend the Misty Dynasty, the Misty Dynasty would attack them directly. This was the style of the Misty Dynasty. Although Night Sorrow did not go out, news would still reach him. Ghost Monkey could investigate, and the God-slaying squad also had members who could do the same. Night Sorrow was happy for Wufeng. No matter how powerful Wufeng's enemies were, or whether they had an emperor or not, they would have to consider the Misty Battle Emperor's attitude if they wanted to touch Wufeng. In the East Hao Mountains encampment around the Star Moon Lake, a few people were discussing the current situation with Dong Haojue, who was sitting on the main seat. They were worried that the Misty Dynasty would attack the East Hao Mountain ruthlessly, and the East Hao Mountain wouldn't be able to withstand it. I've told the sect master about this matter. The Misty Dynasty prides themselves on doing things in an open and above-board manner. Then what reason do they have to attack the East Hao region? We didn't invade the Misty Dynasty like the Celestial sect. So what if they protect the Star Moon Lake? We didn't attack the Star Moon Lake, so even if they want to interfere, they don't have a valid reason, said Dong Haojue. This was the conclusion that Dong Haojue had reached after discussing with the East Hao Mountain's Mountain Lord. The Misty Battle Emperor wouldn't go back on his words. Besides, Dong Haojue had told his father that he was avenging his younger brother. The East Hao Mountain's Mountain Lord didn't ask about the details. He didn't join the Godfiend Castle, but he knew some things and understood why Dong Haojue was doing this. Naturally, he supported him. He also knew that this wouldn't be a reason for the Misty Dynasty to attack the East Hao Mountain. With the East Hao Mountain's Mountain Lord's support, Dong Haojue's plan went smoothly. He contacted the World Edge Pavilion and cut off the Star Moon Lake from the World Edge Pavilion. Then Dong Haojue did some research and felt that it wouldn't be a problem to completely cut off the Star Moon Lake, because of the geography. The Star Moon Lake was an ungoverned area. The East Hao Mountain, the World Edge Pavilion, and the Misty Dynasty didn't occupy it. It was an empty area. There was also an empty area between the Star Moon Lake and the Green Water City. It wasn't part of the Green Water City, which meant that it wasn't part of the Misty Dynasty's territory. The Misty Dynasty ordered that the area around the Star Moon Lake was under the Star Moon Lake's name. As long as Dong Haojue didn't enter this area, he would be fine. Dong Haojue ordered his men to surround the Star Moon Lake from 3 sides and cut off the road. He was waiting for Night Sorrow to show up. As long as Night Sorrow showed up, he would kill Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow received all this news. Even a king from the Black-Yellow Great World's Wuling Mountain was killed by Dong Haojue. After receiving the news, Night Sorrow was furious. However, he didn't lose his cool. His original body was still rapidly improving its strength. He didn't lack time. Night Sorrow informed the Star Moon Lake's members that they wouldn't come out for the time being. If they needed resources urgently, they would purchase them from the Misty Dynasty, or mobilize them from the 9 regions world. They wouldn't contact the East Hao Mountain for the time being. In addition, after learning that the World Edge Pavilion had joined forces with the East Hao Mountain, Night Sorrow had another grudge in his heart. Those who bullied the weak Star Moon Lake had to pay the price. Seeing that Night Sorrow was calm, Lin Xian felt more at ease. She was worried that Night Sorrow would act impulsively. She found that Night Sorrow cared a lot about the information about the Emperor-level White Tiger's blood essence and the Emperor-level Dragon's blood essence. He would ask about it almost every day. Chapter 1679. This matter was not difficult for Lin Xianer. She did not say anything because Wu Lingfei's current situation was not critical, and she could still hold on. Furthermore, Lin Xianer believed that the existence of the evil dragon poison flame was currently harmful to Wu Lingfei, but in the long run, it was also a test of her endurance and tenacity. It was also a training process for her body. In addition, out of concern for Wu Lingfei, Night Sorrow also had the motivation to work hard. Xiaohou and the other 2 arrived at the Star Moon Mountain Villa. Your Highness, they've gone too far. The 3 of us will go fight them. Xiaohou's eyes were full of anger. He, Xiandaozi, and Shangguanhong knew that Star Moon Lake was surrounded and were very angry, so they came to Night Sorrow to ask for help. Back then, the 3 of them had followed Night Sorrow and rampaged through the Chaos Realm, killing everyone. Now it was difficult for them to accept this. They've gone too far. Uncles, don't be anxious. We must vent our anger. I have a plan, but it will have to wait, Night Sorrow said. Your Highness has a plan, so we'll wait. When your highness wants to go out, you must call the three of us. Donghao Mountain is strong now, but in our eyes they're trash. How many years have they been developing? Give your highness some time, even if it's 100th of the time, and your highness can easily crush them, Shangguan Hong said. I remember that Uncle Shangguan is the most stable. Why are you so agitated this time? Night Sorrow took out a tea set and brewed a pot of tea. It's not that I'm agitated, it's that Donghao Mountain is too despicable. Even if we can't beat them, we still have to fight, Shangguan Hong said. Your highness, you don't know, but this hypocrite's temper has become very bad after staying with your highness. If it's not killing this person, it's killing that person, Summer City said. This is the courage of the people of the Chaos Realm. Uncles, go back first. When we kill and burn, I'll definitely call the three of you. We have to vent our anger, Night Sorrow said. Summer City and the other two left. After getting the answer they wanted, they returned to Lin High Street. Right after the three from Summer City left, the members of the God-slaying squad arrived. Long Jin, Liang Yuyan Huang, and Qin Zhen came together. Their goal was the same as the three from Summer City, which was to represent the God-slaying squad in battle. Haha, Uncle Xia and the others just came. Just like you guys, they also want to fight. Actually, the one who wants to fight the most is me, but I'm still lacking the right time. Go back and wait for the news. Don't give in when I'm about to fight, Night Sorrow said. More I equals new/most I fast. Previous 8D Captain, you're wrong. When have we, the God-slaying squad, ever been soft? When will I, Long Jin, ever be soft? Then let's go back and wait for orders. Long Jin left with Liang Yu, Yin Huang and Qin Zhen. Your primal chaos realm is quite interesting. Donghao Mountain can easily produce a heavenly monarch, right? The people around you are all kings and sovereigns, but you still want to fight. Looking at your aura, those who don't know would think that you are a group of emperors. Song Ning, who had come to see Lin Xianer and had tea with her, said, this has nothing to do with cultivation. It's strength of character and bravery. With such a fearless group of people, it's hard for the primal chaos realm not to rise. Lin Xianer directly refuted Song Ning's words. People with bravery and strength of character could not be underestimated, and had to be respected. Yes, we are not afraid of any battle. As long as someone dares to bully us, we will fight back. We just need to wait a little longer. There's still the World Edge Pavilion. This matter is not over yet. Night Sorrow finished speaking, and went to the training ground to continue practicing his spear. The World Edge Pavilion is really something. Why did they get involved in this mess for no reason? They know that Starmoon Lake is a force recognized by the Ethereal Dynasty and Night Sorrow is a lord recognized by the Ethereal Dynasty. They are really brainless. Lin Xianer was a little angry because the World Edge Pavilion did not give her any face. I should have told Lord Battle Emperor to send an army over to kill them, Song Ning muttered. There's no hurry. The Ethereal Dynasty's attention should be on the Celestial Sect now. Besides, Wufeng Mansion has just been established and needs to be stabilized. Let Donghao Mountain and the World Edge Pavilion jump around. I have a feeling that they won't be able to jump around for long, Lin Xianer said. Why do you say that, Sister Xianer? Song Ning did not understand. That's a ruthless person. He cultivated to the Emperor realm in 200 years. What will he be like in another 200 years? Sigh. Why are there always people who can't see through it? Are they really blind because their lives are over? I really don't know how to explain this phenomenon, Lin Xianer said. It can only be explained by being blind. Sister Xianer, that Twilight Tea House is really good. Yesterday, I took Wufeng to the Snow Grace Pavilion and felt that it was really good. They really do business there. The environment, the tea, and the service are all first class. The 2000 Saint Spirit Stones are really worth it. Sister Xianer, shall we try it tonight? Song Ning looked at Lin Xianer and asked. You only felt it when you went with Wufeng. If I want to go, I'll go alone. Night Sorrow and Aluo can also go with me, Lin Xianer said. What's going on? Why aren't you going with me? Song Ning was stunned and asked. I won't disturb you. Wufeng is not good at communicating. You should help with the construction of Wufeng Mansion. Also, go and inform the people of Gong Yufan's family to not have any ideas. This way, they can live peacefully, Lin Xianer said to Songming. She didn't want to kill anyone, so she reminded him. If the people of Gong Yufan dared to cause trouble, even if she didn't want to kill them, there would be people who would. After Songming left, Lin Xianer watched Night Sorrow cultivate the space-time domain. Seeing the power of Night Sorrow's space-time domain, she was very impressed. As long as one couldn't suppress Night Sorrow in terms of domain, it would be very difficult to defeat Night Sorrow. In the space-time domain, the effects of time acceleration and deceleration were very obvious. The space was layered and it was very difficult to attack Night Sorrow, unless the attack was very powerful. Seeing that Night Sorrow had finished cultivating, Lin Xianer clapped her hands and said, Night Sorrow, your space-time domain is really powerful. If I can't suppress your domain, it will be very difficult to fight with you. The space-time domain is very strong, but there is still the sovereign attribute domain. I can't relax at all, Night Sorrow said. You're right. However, it's extremely rare to see someone with the sovereign attribute. Currently, there are Emperor Realm cultivators with the sovereign attribute, but they are all stuck at a bottleneck. It took them countless years to deduce that they have the sovereign attribute. It's not necessarily complete. How can such people be emperors or monarchs? They might even be emperors. There won't be any conflict between you and them. You're too tired. Let's go to Twilight Tea House's Admiring Moon Pavilion. It's so famous, it would be a pity if we don't try it, Lin Xianer said. Sure. Jidao, where's Aluo? Night Sorrow asked Jidao. The madams went out together. I wanted to protect them, but I was chased back, Jidao said. Chapter 1680. Night Sorrow and Lin Xianer arrived at the Twilight Tea House. A receptionist welcomed them, and they went to the Moon Admiring Pavilion. It's really beautiful. The design is very original. After sitting down, Lin Xianer said. There was no need for the staff. Night Sorrow was a tea master himself. After cleaning the tea set, Night Sorrow brewed a pot of heart-cleansing tea. Lin Xianer took a sip of tea. After the effects of the heart-cleansing tea were felt, she raised her head and looked at the bright moon in the sky. I've lived in the heaven realm for many years, but this is the first time I feel that the moon is so beautiful. It's as clean as water. Isn't it written on the door of the Twilight Tea House's Moon Admiring Pavilion that there are moons everywhere in the world? Only the Twilight Moon is different? This shouldn't be an exaggeration, right? Night Sorrow asked with a smile. Tell your sworn brother to stop business for 2 days and change the structure slightly. Just raise the price and double it. People with deep pockets won't care about such a small price like drinking tea. It will only make the Twilight Tea House more famous and become a unique symbol of the ethereal dynasty, Lin Xianer said. My sworn brother is good at doing business. Sister Xianer is good at this too? Night Sorrow asked with a smile. This involves the inner thoughts of people. If it's too easy to get, it won't be precious, Lin Xianer explained. At this time, Chen Chen came and brought 2 plates of tea and snacks. Night Sorrow introduced Chen Chen and Lin Xianer to each other. Night Sorrow, do you remember this tea and snacks? Chen Chen looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Yes. The osmanthus cake from Zhiyuan village. It's been many years and it's always been in the depths of my memory. Don't sell this. If others can't appreciate it, it'll blaspheme the beauty in our hearts. Night Sorrow nodded. This was something in the depths of his memory. When he went hunting, Aunt Lin made this and then wrapped it in oil paper for him to carry. Vyong, Jiu and I free read novel 7-inch This isn't for sale. Your sister-in-law made it. It's only for our family to try, Chen Chen said with a smile. Sister Xianer, this is my favorite thing when I was young. Night Sorrow took the tea and refreshments plate and put it in front of Lin Xianer. If you don't want to share it with others, then I have to try it. Lin Xianer smiled and took a piece, then tasted it. I don't know if others can appreciate it, but I like it very much. The next time I come, Boss Chen can give me a plate. If Miss Lin likes it, that's not a problem. In fact, deep down, I still hope that someone will appreciate the things I like, Chen Chen said. I really admire you. I'm not just being polite. Lin Xianer nodded. Just enjoy it. Night Sorrow, I have good news for you. Do you know about the enlightenment tea produced in the unbounded wilderness of the 9 regions world? Chen Chen looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Night Sorrow nodded. Yeah, I've tasted it before, but it's very rare. I only managed to get a little bit of it when I was helping the realm of unbounded desolation. He remembered that the Lord of Roaring Tiger City had given Wu Lingfei some. The good news is that I've successfully planted and grafted it. The first batch of enlightenment tea has been produced. Chen Chen took out a small teapot and placed it in front of Night Sorrow. Brother, let's not talk about your cultivation talent, but you're definitely a genius in other aspects, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Then Chen Chen left. Let's go. Let's go somewhere else and try the enlightenment tea again, Night Sorrow said, holding the pot of enlightenment tea. Lin Xianer nodded and carried the tea and snacks tray. Night Sorrow smiled and took Lin Xianer to the Shuya Pavilion, then brewed a pot of enlightenment tea. After drinking it, Lin Xianer was quiet for a while, then opened her eyes. The way of tea is really broad and profound. This enlightenment tea will be a great shock. The Twilight Tea House is amazing. You have a VIP card. What are you worried about? You can come whenever you want, Night Sorrow said. The VIP card only proves that you have a seat. Do you think you don't need to spend sacred spirit stones? Song Ning and Wu Feng came over. No. The isolation formation here isn't strong enough. We'll have to ask someone to take care of it when the time comes, Night Sorrow said. What? When you came, we just happened to see it. We didn't scout it, Song Ning said as he sat down. You have a VIP card, but you're still not satisfied. You want to eat and drink for free. Night Sorrow said to Song Ning, who reached out to eat from the tea and snacks tray in front of Lin Xianer. All right. It's a pity that I didn't invest in this good business. If I had shares here, I'd be eating and drinking for free. Song Ning took a bite of the osmanthus cake and reached out to take it again, but Lin Xianer slapped his hand away. Sister Xianer, you. Song Ning was stunned. This is mine. If you want to eat it, think of a way, Lin Xianer said. I'll ask someone for it. I'll call the waiter. Song Ning pulled a rope in the pavilion. It was the copper bell used to summon the waiter. The waiter came and bowed. What can I do for you, sir? Give me 2 servings of this. Song Ning pointed at the osmanthus cake in front of Lin Xianer. Sir, I'm sorry. That's our madam's cooking. It's only for the owner to taste. The Twilight Tea House doesn't have this kind of dessert. Sir, you should look at something else. The waiter bowed. Kid, look carefully. I'm your VIP here. Song Ning took out the VIP card and waved it. The VIP card was issued by our domain master. It proves that you're our domain master's friend. Friends should respect each other and not be above friends. Please don't make things difficult for us, the waiter said in a tone that was neither servile nor overbearing. Aren't you afraid of offending your domain master and making her angry? I'll talk to your domain master about this in a while, Song Ning said. I'm afraid, but I'm from Bamboo Garden City. I'm from the same place as our domain master. Even if I lose my head in the next moment, I can't embarrass our Bamboo Garden City, the young waiter said. Just wait to be dealt with. Wait to lose your head. Song Ning slammed the table. If the domain master wants to punish me, there's no need for him to do anything. My head will come off for me. However, I can only say one thing. It's blasphemous for the Twilight Tea House's VIP card to be in your hands. The young waiter looked a little angry. AI Night Sorrow, you win. Song Ning sighed, because this young man who had no cultivation had never said anything that would cause him to lose his dignity, even if he was just an attendant. No one blames you. I'm more than happy to see a young man like you. Bamboo Garden City. I haven't returned to Bamboo Garden City for a while. I'll proudly say this. I'm the pride of Bamboo Garden City, and so are you. Song Ning, don't scare the children of Bamboo Garden City in the future, Night Sorrow said. You're Night. You're the domain master. The young man recognized Night Sorrow after looking at him. There were many statues of Night Sorrow in the 9-domain world. However, the young man had encountered difficulties when he entered the pavilion, and did not recognize him. Chapter 1681. Xiao Mo greets the region leader. The young man bowed to Night Sorrow. You look familiar, but I can't tell. Maybe it's because we were born in the same place. Night Sorrow looked at Xiao Mo and said, My ancestor is from Zhiyuan village. His name is Xiao Kuan. According to the genealogy, my ancestor and the region leader knew each other. Xiao Mo said, Xiao Kuan, Aunt Lin's son. I grew up wearing the clothes that your ancestor, Aunt Lin, sewed. I didn't take care of Aunt Lin and the others. Night Sorrow felt a little sour because the elders of Zhiyuan village had all passed away. At that time, he didn't have the limitless longevity fruit. I'm very happy to see the region leader here. The young Xiao Mo said, Follow Boss Chun and gain experience. You can't fall behind in your cultivation. That's the only way to gain dignity. Night Sorrow said, Xiao Mo understands. Xiao Mo nodded. You'll have a bright future. Go. Tell my sworn brother to bring 2 plates of tea and snacks. Night Sorrow was very pleased. Although Xiao Mo's cultivation was low, his arrogance was in his bones. Night Sorrow, I'm sorry. I was just teasing him and got myself confused. Song Ning said apologetically, It's nothing. When I saw the descendants of Bamboo Garden Village, I felt quite emotional. The osmanthus cake in my memory was made for me by his ancestor, Auntie Lin. At that time, it was Auntie Lin who helped me sew and mend my clothes. This child has a backbone. I'm very gratified, said Yishang. We have more cultivation than him. In terms of personality, dignity, and strength of character, we don't have any sense of superiority. So he doesn't have stage fright at all. He may be afraid, but he definitely won't back down. Lin Xianer said. After drinking tea, Night Sorrow went to Chen Chen. Because of Xiao Mo? He told me. Chen Chen said. Yes, I want this person, Night Sorrow said. When I saw him, I thought about this problem. I felt that it was important to first train his social experience and develop his character, so I arranged for him to stay in the tea house. He had been working in 9 Regions City some time ago, and he had just brought him over. I think it's more suitable for you to train for a while longer. As for the cultivation foundation, no matter how useless your sworn brother is, it shouldn't be a problem for him to cultivate a foundation, Chin Chin said. I was too anxious. Then we'll do as my sworn brother says. He did very well today. Also, if anyone tries to make things difficult for us, there's no need to compromise. We're doing business, not selling our face or dignity. Night Sorrow emphasized his attitude, then continued with Lin Xianer's suggestion before leaving. Night Sorrow, you're not really angry, are you? Song Ning, who was waiting at the door, asked. No, I just think that this reflects a problem. Twilight Tea House is doing business, so there will be all kinds of customers, so principles are very important, Night Sorrow said after leaving the Twilight Tea House. It's very simple. Tomorrow, I'll ask the War Emperor to write a plaque. People with low morals won't dare to mess around. Sister Xianer, don't you think so? Song Ning looked at Lin Xianer. Yes, it's very necessary. Lin Xianer nodded with a smile. Song Ning was using her as a favor. That's not very appropriate, is it? It's a little unreasonable to trouble the War Emperor with this matter, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow, I apologize for touching some of the pain in your heart with my joke today, Song Ning said. Boss Song, you're boring. Everyone knows you were joking. Also, you helped me find an old friend, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Night Sorrow, I like this Xiao Mo very much. Let him calm down in the tea house. When the time comes, I'll take him away, Wu Feng, who had been silent all this time, said. Thank you, big brother. Night Sorrow nodded to Wu Feng. I like his character, I like his bravery. Wu Feng said the reason why he admired Xiao Mo, Night Sorrow and Lin Xian. A return to Starmoon Mountain Villa. After chatting with his wives who had not returned to the 9 Regions world for a while, they continued to cultivate. At this time, the energy fluctuations on Night Sorrow's body were very strong. Even the leakless true body could not suppress it. This was a sign that his main body's cultivation was rapidly increasing. He was more anxious because Donghao Mountain was very arrogant now. They had surrounded Star Moon Lake. This was a slap in the face, which made many people angry. Song Ning went to the Linglong Pagoda in the city lord's mansion and found Lin Piaomiao. She came with a blank signboard. You want me to do something? Next time, do it yourself. Lin Piaomiao glared at Song Ning. However, she waved her right hand and carved the words Twilight Tea House on the signboard. Thank you, Sister Xian. The osmanthus cake today was really delicious, Song Ning said with a smile. You're such a bastard. Are you planning to take this signboard to the Twilight Tea House and make them feel grateful? Then you can do whatever you want and eat whatever you want. Is that what you're trying to say? Lin Xian looked at Song Ning and scolded him because she knew what he was thinking. Sister Xian, you just casually waved it. If there's good food, I'll definitely share it with you, Song Ning said. Do I need you? If I want to eat, is there no way? Lin Xian glared at Song Ning and then went back to the Linglong Pagoda. Song Ning didn't put the signboard into his storage ring. He carried it with one hand and went to Twilight Tea House. He stood at the door and shouted to the receptionist. Lord Battle Emperor personally bestowed this signboard. Tell your boss to come and receive it. The only authentic copy, why the other? Pirated copy. Lord Battle Emperor personally bestowing a signboard was a big deal. Currently, only the signboard of the 7th City Lord's residence had been personally bestowed by Lord Battle Emperor. There was no Lord Battle Emperor's handwriting left behind. Now that Song Ning had brought Lord Battle Emperor's handwriting, Twilight Tea House had to welcome him respectfully. Chun Chun and the Twilight Tea House's receptionist took the signboard and hung it up. Chun Chun thanks Lord. Chun Chun cupped his hands to Song Ning to express his gratitude. After coming to the ethereal imperial city to do business, Chun Chun already knew most of the important people in the ethereal imperial city. You're welcome. I'm Night Sorrow's friend, so I won't be stingy if it's within my power. However, Boss Chun, you can't be stingy with your refreshments. Song Ning's voice was lower when he said the last sentence. Refreshments. I understand. Chun Chun was stunned for a moment. Then he remembered what happened not long ago. That's good. With the signboard bestowed by Lord Battle Emperor, no one will dare to make trouble in the future. If anyone makes trouble, you can take down the signboard and give it to him to smash. Let's see who dares to smash it. Song Ning pointed at the signboard and said. Thank you for your advice, Lord. Chun Chun smiled. Do you think it's easy to shamelessly ask for a signboard? Song Ning muttered. It's not easy for Lord. In the future, I'll give you a discount and a VIP card when you come here. I'll make a mark so that the people below will understand. Chun Chun said. She took the VIP card with a mark and left. She was in a great mood. She didn't need the Holy Spirit stones. What she wanted was the feeling and the face. Of course, Twilight Tea House also gained a lot. The Lord Battle Emperor bestowed a signboard, which meant that Lord Battle Emperor was very sure of this place. How could business not be good? And NB says here's the first update. You're tuning in to the Li Mei Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.